Shall we get this started? Yes, I have got my self-sit banner up. It's the biggest reason for that. I hear tell, thanks to little Brody, we've got a self-sit in Judge Oakley's room. It's always fun. It's always fun. So I thought I'd start the stream out with it. I've got a couple other courts to jump to after this one. I've got the 3B with Judge Judge Middleton, and I've got courtroom number 5 at Judge Fletcher. So yeah. So this could be interesting. Let's get it rolling, eh?
What brand?
Oh, Terex.
Terex, right. So basically the argument is your Terex is not a motor vehicle.
And here's the thing. Some reason they started this partway into it. I've got no idea why, but we don't have the first part where I'm guessing he'd try the old what is on the paper is not my name. My name is not all capitals. Bullshit. I'm guessing that's what happened before this, and they just cut it all out. Because, yeah, the same.
Well, it's not an ORV, not an ORV. Okay. So I saw your response this morning. I saw your reply to her response. Did you see those, by the way, the reply? All right. So I think we've all seen the same paperwork. Okay. You want to hit some highlights of your arguments?
I mean, my argument is pretty much the whole thing, and like I said again, this goes back to just trying to label as an ORV. And it's strict ORV, like if I took a monster truck up on the roadway that takes up whole roadways, can't make turns in roadway, right? The way the statute's applied, they can be, and for instance, they advertise like Ford Raptors and such, right? They show them in all the commercials going up mountains, same Jeeps, all they advertise, hey, take them all off road, right? So the way the statute's written, they can just basically be like, oh, hey, anything with a
Judge Oakley's
that
face,
looks like
man.
pretty much any vehicle is capable of going off road. So any given time, the way the statute's being applied to me, they can just any vehicle is capable of being taken off road.
Let me stop you though. Let me stop you. That's actually a different argument. So one argument is your Terex is not an ORV. The other argument is their ordinance or the statute they're applying is just too vague. It's just unconstitutionally vague. Would you agree with me? That's two different arguments?
I think they tied me up.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. But the reason I want to make sure we're all on the same page, because I think there's two different responses that could come and two different decisions that could be made. Would you agree with me? Okay. So I want to take them one at a time then. So first is, well, one would be your Terex is not an ORV, doesn't meet the definition. And the second argument would be, and the definition they're using is overly vague. Okay. So, Madam Prosecutor, pick one of those arguments. Let's pick one and we'll talk about one at a time.
Certainly, Your Honor. Step one, whether or not the all authority.
Just call it Terex. Just call it let's make it specific to him, the Terex.
12-324-81122.
Oh, give me that again. I was somewhere else when you started talking. Go ahead. MCL.
81101 sub U defines ORV as a vehicle, a motor-driven off-road recreation vehicle capable of cross-country travel without benefit of a road or trail on or immediately over land, snow, ice, marsh, swampland, or other natural terrain. It goes on to give examples of what is included in an ORV and what are not included as an ORV.
Okay, so basically an ORV or off-road vehicle is any vehicle capable of traversing terrain which is not a sealed path. Roads, in this instance, are sealed paths majority. So just thought I'd shorten that right down for you guys.
Here, the utility terrain vehicle, as Mr. Cusell labels it, is an off-road vehicle. Exhibit A that I included in my motion is a.
Let me stop you. I'm sorry. In your reply to his motion? Is that where your exhibit A is? Okay, go ahead.
Owner's manual of the steering. It particularly gives under basic stage, off-road vehicle, the off-highway use only. This vehicle is not an all-terrain vehicle. It's designed and equipped to be a multi-use utility vehicle for off-highway use only. Use of this vehicle on public roads and paved surfaces is hazardous. Do not operate this vehicle on public roads or paved surfaces. In addition, in exhibit B, I included a relevant portion of the ORV handbook that is found on the state of Michigan's website. And it includes utility terrain vehicles as an ORV. It also conveniently enough includes a photo of a near identical ORV that Mr. Cusell operated back on February 3rd of this year.
Okay, anything else?
I guess I can go further. Mr. Cusell then goes on to liken it to something like a Ford Raptor, a Jeep, monster truck. The multi-purpose personal use vehicle used for personal family conveyance.
I wouldn't call a monster truck a multi-purpose vehicle, or well, technically yes, an off-road vehicle, but definitely not on-road vehicle.
SEL 324.8112 sub 1 states that an individual shall not operate an ORV that is not registered under the code upon a street, county road, or highway. A Ford Raptor, Jeep, and a monster truck all need to be registered in order to operate on.
Right.
Mr. Cusell was not pulled over because he was operating an ORV, but because that ORV was not registered, did not have a license plate. For that reason, I believe that this motion should be dismissed and the people renew their request for motion.
I have an objection to that, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, it's not an objection, it's a response, but go ahead.
Of course he's got an objection. He's got an objection to everything.
Okay, well, again, none of the registration or any of that stuff was even brought up, any of it. They slapped an ORV on it because they were on to have me held in the car for 45 minutes on phones. I on body cam trying to figure out what to even charge me with. Because I was pulled over in retaliation. And that is what they pulled me over for. Ready to go on as well.
Oh, so now they pulled you over in retaliation. Okay, that just took a turn.
What was stated and put on there. And going back to liability or the not operating on highway use, it's referring to, we purchased those, I don't know if that involved one or used them. They tell you that they come stock to only go about 50-ish miles an hour. You can get a module to make you go highway speeds when they're referring to highway.
I saw that in your response.
The higher speeds, and that would be the reason why. And I think everyone does nowadays see how common these UTVs are and see them all over the place.
I got to shoot you down there though. Because you spend a lot of time talking about that you see these all over. That doesn't make them legal. I mean, that just bottom line doesn't make them legal. The fact that some, for example, some communities just kind of like turn a blind eye to golf carts, right? That's not necessarily saying they're legal. That's just saying they're not enforcing them. Now that gets to your other argument, which, does that create an unfair situation? But I gotta shut you down there because just because you see them doesn't mean they're legal. But let's get back to that language you used. Like, I gotta find it. Oh, okay. Do not operate this vehicle on public roads or paved surfaces. I understand your argument is they're telling you to stay off the highway with a stock Terex, but they didn't say highway. They said not safe for public roads or paved surfaces. That's what they said.
What?
So I'm just
Again, it's why, just like how they put on bicycles, they wear elbows, knee pads and helmets, right? So
I understand that.
Say don't operate on public roadways without a helmet.
I understand that's your take on what this means, but the clear language says don't go on paved surfaces.
Yes, clear language and same with the manuals for again, dirt bikes, motorcycles,
Right.
right? Yeah, that's still legal for people to drive around without helmets.
All right.
You know, because it's a liability issue, that's why they put it in there.
So,
But what people do is something after purchasing.
so my understanding is that if you jump through the hoops, if you go through the process, it's possible, you know, you might have to add some equipment to your Terex or whatever. But it's possible to get some of these vehicles registered as roadworthy with the Secretary of State. That's my understanding. You know, if it's got, and I made a list, you know, if it's got bumpers at the correct height, it's got windshield and wipers and rear view mirrors. If it's got all this safety equipment, then you can get it registered and put it on the road legally. Is that your understanding?
Oh, no, in my defense, before this even happened, Sergeant Bryce, who was the barrier.
No. Hold on.
Okay, so that moved on fast. A little bit too fast. Like, kind of almost like Judge destroyed his point. So, what do? You gaslight that point and move on to the next one. That's almost what it felt like there.
Hold on. I'm talking generally. I'm not talking specifically to you. I'm talking generally speaking. Do you agree with me that there is a process that the state of Michigan has that you can take something that may be an off-road vehicle and you can go through steps and have it roadworthy and registered as such with the state of Michigan? Do you understand? Do you agree there's a process for that?
And for certain vehicles, I would say yes.
Okay. All right.
My specific UTV, they are already equipped and sold road ready.
Okay.
Again, you go back to this disclaimer, just because they put it in there, it's a disclaimer.
Then why have you not registered as a vehicle with the state of Michigan?
Sergeant Bryce told me as well, within my lawful rights. You, like, and I said, I stated numerous times, both to me and my wife at the gas station, right where I got pulled over. Well, previously to this, we even talked about it. We had a conversation about it at the gas station. The BP is simply a middle. He instructed, even told me, you're well within your lawful rights.
Okay.
He said this numerous times. And then I relayed this to officer, I don't know.
The officer that wrote the ticket.
Okay. Right, and then when I asked him the second interaction I had with him, I asked him, dude, I need to get you, which is part of the body cam. I'm still trying to get a hold of these things because I have to take them to court for it. Because they're withholding body cam image. Or where I asked him, hey, I need you to get a supervisor here to clarify this. Because he told me I'm not getting a pissing match and drove away. So
basically saw right through the bullshit. And all you did was hear bullshit from one and pass it on to another. Like people of your nature do anyhow. Awesome! And for those who can't tell, that was sarcastic.
All right, stop there. Hold on. Is it your understanding that there's a mechanism by which if the safety equipment is there, then the vehicle can be registered with the state of Michigan?
It's my understanding that the specific township or municipality needs to adopt or identify certain roadways that they are then able to operate on. As far as I know, the township of Huron doesn't have any that are safely permitted. I do believe that.
Hold on. You're telling me if the state of Michigan registers it as a motor vehicle, you guys can still say you can't go on your roads?
I believe it's county owned roads. Or
even though the state says it's a motor vehicle. Because that's my understanding. If the state registers it as a motor vehicle, that's what they're doing after all the safety equipment is there.
But I believe it's for limited use. So like, there's examples in the statute that talks about for limited purposes of, say like parades or something to that effect.
Oh my word.
again, Your Honor.
Hold on. I'm cogitating. What was
Judge really needs. I don't know. several shots of vodka or some Irish cream liqueur or some whiskey at the desk, maybe a couple old fashions for fuck's sake. This has just gone painful. Honestly, I see this going one way and it's not pretty.
Well, it seemed to me that the township's got to get off its ass and do something with their ordinances on register. I mean, if the state's out there authorizing people to drive these on pavement and you guys just haven't decided where they can and can't, it sounds like the township's got to get on the board.
You can look up there one that's decided, to be honest, they said it didn't exist.
What doesn't exist? I'm sorry.
They're trying to target them with the code they gave, they said it doesn't even exist. I couldn't
Okay.
look it up.
Brother, you keep throwing new arguments in.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm just bringing it up.
Hold on. Let's not get there yet. I'm making notes so you don't forget to get there, but don't get there yet.
This guy's
I'm
moving
having
too
trouble figuring out
fast.
how the township can tell somebody they can't operate a motor vehicle that the state of Michigan says is a motor vehicle.
Welcome in.
Your Honor, I am not specifically prepared to argue that only because Mr. Cruzel's ORV wasn't registered, so it has no bearing on whether or not it can operate.
But it can be.
Souls.
Well, don't get me started with that. I mean,
Oh my word. This guy's argument is so warped, it's taking the judge a lifetime to get his head around it. Honestly, I'd throw the guy in jail and be like, you could sit 30 days and I'll come back and see you. And then if he starts this bullshit again, he's in there for another 30 days. The sovereign citizen stuff is contempt. High contempt at that. Yeah, the guy's not talking over him, but it's bullshit arguments. And you keep bringing bullshit arguments, you might as well be in contempt.
all right, so let's talk about the fact that they've charged you under an ordinance that doesn't exist. My paraphrase of your argument.
Yeah, I've been trying to clarify too and bring it up too, but I've been trying to find it, doesn't even, the code they cited doesn't even exist.
All right, hold on. Let me get to the paperwork.
I just had one fact I wanted to throw.
Hold on. Don't do that. You're confusing me. Make your notes so you don't forget. All right, so if we look at the ticket, offense code is 257311. Authorization code is, I don't know what that is, 00003.
Yeah, I think.
Is that, I'm reading it 00003.
Okay.
So I guess let's get a clarification from the prosecutor. What is the specific ordinance, statute, whatever, that the ORV on roadway is being prosecuted under?
So here on the doc, the Michigan Traffic Code, which I referenced to, but I also stated in my motion, that.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but the reply that I'm looking at for today?
Yeah.
All right, so let us both know where to find that. Yep.
My final argument, or my final, sentence before my argument.
Oh man,
Ultimately,
this is
Okay.
painful.
ORV on the roadway in violation of MCL 324-81122 and Huron
I
Township
need something
Ordinance
stronger than this.
506-4, which I do have a copy, and it is on and available on E-code 360. which is-
Okay. Could you provide a copy of that to Mr. Purcell? You only have one copy?
I do.
That's all right. Mr. Purcell and I can share it.
Of course you can.
Yeah, probably
Judge.
helpful. Mr. Purcell, why don't you let me have that for just a minute. We'll make copies. So then you've got a copy, I've got a copy. You got a copy for yourself, counsel?
I don't, but
Let's-
it's word when you say yes.
Let's make a couple copies of it.
Okay. So we're gonna photocopy that off. Usually that's something courts expect you to have sorted before you come to court, and yeah, the prosecutor should have had that done, even if it's seconds before they walked into the room. But my guess is she's of the fact that he's going to look at it and go, let's go with the points. Bullshit, 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 and more fucking bullshit. Done. Which he probably will. But I don't see him winning this case at all. And that's at this moment. If you're twisting an
All right,
argument
so while we're waiting for
so bad that it ties the judge's brain in knots, you're not going to win.
those copies,
I would like to also add, Your Honor, to make this even more interesting, the township is doing, Police Chief, Robbins, we've known him.
hold on. Two,
Not relevant. He keeps believing there's some sort of conspiracy against him. When in fact we're here today for operating ORV on the roadway back in February. If there's any conspiracy, it's one that Mr. Purcell's orchestrated himself.
okay, hold on, because I think your objection might have been a little bit premature. I don't even know where he's going.
So what's funny about the ORV thing is because Police Chief Robbins, we've known him forever, he's at my personal ORV, had his, my dad, same thing.
Okay.
He even contacted my dad and had asked him, he's here, asked him to have me call him, because he couldn't call me for legal reasons. And when he said, he brought up and goes, you know, man, you can't have an ORV, bros. He's trying to work out, he even told me he wanted to work out a deal with me, is what he told me on the phone. And,
That's simply not true.
it's very true, you can test, they have given text.
Well, okay, well, hold on. Neither one of you were in on the conversation. So you sit down, let me hear what he's got to say.
So I called Everett, voicemail, he called me back, and he started off saying, no, man, you can have an RV. You and I both know it's not just an RV. And then he goes on to call it, he goes, oh, well, you can't have a motor vehicle. So then he flip-flopped the terminology.
Okay,
Again, there as well.
but I don't mean this to sound condescending, but what's the point of that story?
But so they're just, the original stop, because again,
There's confusion.
yeah, you're right, and that's why they kept me in the car so long, because they were trying to figure out what to even do, and that's.
Right.
What
Right,
Right, so that's where this little ORV statute is trying to be applied to my situation.
okay, all right. Okay, I don't doubt there's confusion. I mean, I'm here, okay? All right, let's get back to the paperwork. You got a copy now, Mr. Purcell? All right. So counsel, if you can, show us or direct us, I should say, to specific language where the township's hanging its hat.
Sure, so it similarly, identifies the definition of an ORV on the second page.
ORV or vehicles, that where you're reading? Okay,
And then, it goes on to state.
Is it just me, or is his head getting redder? I think I see steam coming out of his ears.
are you going to prohibited activities?
I am, yes, 5064 from the activities.
S. Is that where you're going?
Yes, I am.
All right, so just so we're clear, so he knows what he's defending against. It's 5064 S is the prohibited activity, and 5063 would provide the definition that you're trying to apply to his Terex.
And word for word is.
All right, Mr. Crucell, now at least you know exactly what language you're fighting. Okay.
Yeah, and again, with that definition, law. It even, he said, I put back behind, they showed that even Jeeps and trucks, they're advertised and sold. And shown as recreational vehicles and off-road and everything, this would allow the township or the state to just. At any given time, be like, oh, hey, we don't like you, so here, we're gonna slap with an RV mine. For any vehicle that's capable of going off-road, because that's just what they want to claim it as. I mean, that's just so ambiguous, it's outrageous.
But I think her argument a few minutes ago, maybe more than a few now, was, but all of those are registered.
But that's not what was the issue with Annie, that's not what I was even, no one even brought it up at the time that I was arrested and stopped, none of that stuff, I was just stopped in peer retaliation, I wasn't charged for any of that stuff. No one brought it up, and again, going back to it, I was previously told I was lawfully allowed to do what I was doing.
What do you think the retaliation's about?
Because I had 200 encounters with this officer, he's a new hire, and what happened was, this all stemmed from the fact that our neighbor.
Oh, just bad blood between you individually?
Well, I guess so, because I didn't even know him for a whole year prior to this. It's even in their notes and everything that my neighbor kept calling, saying Rebecca's driving with our kids. And it's even on the thing that he was intoxicated almost every time he's calling. And they stopped coming out. And Officer Bryce even said, we're not coming out messing with you, right? We're not doing nothing
I need a beer. I'll be right back, people.
wrong. And this is what I'm supposed to do. My kid, shut up. And I told him, I was like, dude, you need to go talk to Dave. You gotta go do it. This has already been taken care of. This guy keeps calling. You even told this lady, when they call in a freaking
Dispatcher?
dispatcher, put in the note several times, the guy's intoxicated, just making calls. And that's why they stopped coming out. I told him this. And then, but yeah, it was the next day after I told him, dude, you need to go get your supervisor here, please, so we can face out. And that's when he told me, I'm not getting a missing match and left. I mean, I know his body cam's out, I've seen it. And that's why part of the body cam, I'm still trying to. Yeah, if they won't, that's some stuff that other body cam that I know is missing, I'm still trying to get a hold of. Because this was, and then, Officer Smith, they're in body cam even talking that they were purposely, all that officers, is it side or like, yeah, that he was purposely watching for him. He's on the phone talking about this. He's also on the phone with Everett, a couple other officers trying to figure out applicable laws because he didn't know. They arrested me based off something he thought he could arrest me on. It wasn't even an arrestable offense. And he come in, the only reason he found that out was because he had called the FOIA lady, Jill Evans. And then the original officer stopped me. He couldn't even finish filling out the citations. Officer Smith, who was his supervisor, had to get in the car and finish filling out. And that's what they ended up, because he's on the phone the whole time trying to figure out what to even put on the thing we charge him. It's been an orchestrated event the entire time, up to leading how, especially shows even more that there was collusion. It's how I got an unsigned order and all this stuff sent to me. It was more just threatening and intimidation. And that's what.
Oh, unsigned order.
Yeah.
Oh wow. This keeps twisting more than the latest hit movie plot.
In the very beginning, I got a default where it's unsigned, didn't have.
Oh, no, brother. No, brother. Hold on. Stop. I gotta say this. Listen, that's just timing. That nobody from here on township called up here to one of my clerks and said, screwing. It's because it happens all the time when there's a misdemeanor tracking, people forget to deal with this. We got a speeding ticket you're in default in right now.
People work in the department that people are always conversing between the judges and the prosecutors.
But I'm telling you right now, that none of my clerks defaulted you to try to cause you trouble. It's in the computer and it happens all the time. The misdemeanor case is tracking it slower, and you don't realize you got to do something different with the civil infraction, so a default enters.
No, I don't want to say it's worse.
I'm just telling, hold on. I have to tell you, there's no conspiracy against you on that default. That's just the way shit happens. It's just because the computer tracks things differently with misdemeanors and civil infractions.
Of course, there's a conspiracy on the default, Judge. Every judgment against me is a conspiracy. Oh, bloody oath. Ah, far out. This guy's so far up shit's creek without a paddle. It's not funny.
And that's all fixable. Okay. Anything else that we didn't talk? I mean, I cut you off a couple times saying, don't give me a new issue at this point. Anything that you want to bring up?
I got pretty much all my arguments for being in. I mean, it's clearly, but
What's going on with the body cam? You claim you can't get body cams.
He was also reporting this incident himself, so he had.
Well, that's a different issue though. Part of discovery is he's requested body cams. You're saying he provided those.
He's filed at least 10 FOIA requests for township, including any of the stops or any of the citizen complaints that police have been called out to, but also including his wife's traffic stop.
I'm not getting into all that, but you have provided him body cam footage of interactions. You're talking on top of me, counsel. You have provided him body cam footage of interactions between he and the officer that issued these tickets. Yes? All interactions. You don't have them.
I know for a fact there's a couple of videos missing.
All right. Do you have dates of incidents?
I do, but I don't have that stuff with me. That's all part of my lawsuit thing of filing for the circuit court for the FOIA lawsuit stuff. And I got all that stuff organized at home for that.
But that's stuff that you think you need to defend yourself here.
Well,
If it's not, that's okay.
well, I mean, it would also be just scheduled.
No, I just need to know, because if you're prepping to defend for trial and that's discovery you think you need, then I'm going to order that they provide it.
Well, I'm here.
Okay, all right. So you don't need that to prepare for this case.
Not this motion.
No. The underlying charges against you.
Oh, I would absolutely need that if this is.
Okay. Then we're going to need you to provide dates. So you want body cam footage if it exists from interaction between you and officer so-and-so for this date and that date. All right.
AKA create table if exists.
Sure, go ahead.
As I said, he has been given all of those. My understanding that he initially appealed the FOIA, which went to the township supervisor. The township supervisor acknowledged the redacted portions were legal material and returned back to Mr. Crusoe. He then appealed the appeal, which went to my office, and we confirmed again that the only redactions are legal material. I think he's appealed us twice more. So it's not relevant for a portion of it.
Are you saying you never got the body cam footage, or you got the body cam footage and things were redacted?
Oh, those are part of the issues too. There's body cam and stuff and that's the problem is.
Things are always redacted if they think that it's personally identifiable information, aka really phone numbers, addresses, stuff like that. It's just the way it is.
There's all sorts of stuff that's redacted in body cams and in the reports, and then there's stuff missing.
Okay, hold on. Then you acknowledge that they've sent you those body cam footages
So,
for the interaction between you and the officer.
The incident before specifically the one I want, and that I know is missing is the one before he pulled me over, but the day before he pulled me over.
Okay.
Okay.
Prior to these tickets being issued, there was an interaction between that officer and yourself. That you've never seen the video,
No.
the body cam footage.
I've been.
Okay.
Again,
Do you know whether or not that's been submitted?
As far as I know, how your these days been built.
All right. All right, but now you're talking about FOIA stuff. I'm talking about that body cam. That's all I'm talking about is one body cam. Okay, all right. But you can't, off the top of your head, you can't give me that incident date.
No, that wasn't.
All right. All right.
That
So
sucks.
submit a formal request for body cam footage from that date to the prosecutor. She can check it out, see if it's been submitted to you prior. She can tell you when, she can resubmit it. She can file a motion with me and say, I'm not going to submit that because, and we'll go from there. All right. That's that one specific issue. Agreed? Okay.
Have another mouthful of whiskey, Judge. You're gonna need it.
All right, let's get back to your argument, Mr. Crucell, that the language that we just went over is overly broad or vague. Let's hit that again. So is it the definition of the ORV that you think is overly broad?
Oh, absolutely. It basically encompasses anything they said. It even says any
He thinks all laws are overly broad.
vehicle capable of cross-country travel without benefiting of the road, right? And that's any vehicle, I mean, you can even take a smart car off the road if you wanted to, essentially.
You could. You could indeed take a smart car off the road if you wanted to. I'm just saying that I had a sip of drink when he said that. I don't know how long the smart car would last off the road, unless it was one of these electric utes or whatever. But yeah,
I mean, and that's what I mean. I mean, the way he just reads, they could just apply that anytime they want to any vehicle, whenever they want.
If I'm understanding your argument, I drive an F-150.
So,
All right. So we would probably agree that we could take that off the road.
well,
You and I.
in commercial, so that's what they.
Right. So your argument is because they could write ORV on a roadway for that means this statute or this ordinance is overly broad. All right. Except they can't because the state of Michigan has licensed me to put my F-150 on the road.
But again, the same point, mine can be the same thing.
But it's not licensed. It can be. It can be. And I would like to see you do that because then I want to see how they're going to keep you off the road. The state of Michigan said you can put that on the road.
But again, Your Honor, that the whole reason that they're trying to dance around the whole thing, because if they didn't bring up none of the registration.
I know you're getting back to the
Confusing
confusion.
stuff, right? They're trying to use the definition of ORV to.
I get with the whole, you sat in the car 45 minutes, they decide what to do with you. I get all that. Okay. And that's problematic for me too. But I don't find this language to be overly broad because there's the licensing aspect of it that narrows it.
So there's that conflict there, right? And that also shows the ambiguity of it, right? So you're saying that if I want to pay a tax stamp for something, then now all of a sudden it's not this, but then they're trying to claim it's this. So how does a tag all of a sudden make this not this? Doesn't make sense.
Hold on, you lost me.
And all of a sudden, so what they're trying to claim is an ORV, but if I magically go get a tax stamp put on it, right, registered, now it's automatically just a motor vehicle. So now it falls under.
Yeah, but hold on. It's not just about the money. And believe me, brother, I'm the first one to think that I'm the first one to jump in the bandwagon with you about the government grabbing money. All right. I fight that here. But it's more than that because let's just pick the specific example of an ORV. I could build myself a dune buggy, right? Completely manufactured. I couldn't because I'm not handy that way. But I mean, I could get tubular stock and build a frame, and I could grab a motor, an engine off of something else, and fabricate a drivetrain, and I could have something that I could take off, go through the trails and the hills. Would you agree with me? No, but I mean, I'm just like build it from scratch, right? I'm Henry Ford. I built it from scratch and it's out there running around. But if I get it registered as a motor vehicle by the state of Michigan, they're putting their rubber stamp of approval on it saying it's safe for me to put on their roads. There's a safety issue, not just a money grab. And that's the way I'm looking at this, because from my little bit of research, if I got to find it, if I want to go through the process to get my manufactured vehicle roadworthy, I've got to have taillights. I've got
Judge, you're destroying my argument.
high and low beam headlights. I've got to have turn signals front and rear. I got to have a rear view mirror. The state of Michigan is checking all these things off before they license me or register me to put it on the road. And they're saying, they being the state of Michigan, saying it's safe to get on the road with the F-150s that you and I drive.
Yeah, but again, you're giving an example of someone building something. The thing that my vehicle already comes equipped and built and manufactured that way.
But here's the difference. Here's the difference. I can guarantee you that if somebody took the time and researched what these roadworthy requirements were state by state, they would be different. There'd be similarities, but they'd be different.
Oh yeah, that'd be different. Every state would require bumpers, indicators, headlights, tail lights, rear view mirrors. Bull bars for some cars. Need I go on?
So for Terex to sell it and say it's roadworthy, they're not guaranteeing you that it's legal in Michigan. They can't.
Well, that's why I put those disclaimers on. The other thing too.
Stop. I'm not done with my argument. That's where the registration process comes from. The individual states saying, yeah, Crucell, we think your Terex is legal on Michigan roads. That's the whole part of the process that changes from just any old thing that they decide they want to ticket somebody because they had it on the roadway. They could claim it's an ORV. No, they can't, because it's registered, my F-150, your F-150. It's registered with the state of Michigan as a motor vehicle, i.e. legal to be on the roads. That's what kills your overly broad argument, is because there's a process by which it is no longer an ORV. It's now roadworthy because the state of Michigan is registered as such.
Judge, you're destroying his argument. Big time. It's not. This ain't no argument killing sesh. No. This is a slaughter. Blimey. Whew.
But again, the state of Michigan is arbitrarily trying to convert everyone's right to travel by saying.
That's a different argument.
Yeah,
That's a different argument.
I get where you're trying to go with this. I understand that. But again,
Dude, Judge is trying to interpret the law properly. You're trying to interpret the law whatever way your ass wants to interpret it. Simple.
You look at this definition, and no one said anything again. This all goes back to, I was not cited for no registration. I was not cited for insurance. None of that stuff was even brought up. It's strictly the ORV that they're trying to stick to. Again, by going off this definition, that can be any single vehicle in the world. Anything that they want is capable of going off road.
Well, but here's my ruling. Here's my ruling. Because there's a process to register vehicles, whether or not they're ORVs, F-150s, whatever they are, because there's a process in the state of Michigan is to register them as roadworthy, I don't think that's overly broad language. Because I think you can't read everything in a vacuum. So my ruling is, on that motion, my ruling is I deny your motion that it's overly broad. I don't believe it is. But I still have problems with the way the whole thing went down. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with that. Because, and I think I've told you this from the beginning. I get it. Matter of fact, I think the first day you were here, I get it. You've had interactions with Huron Township police officers that said you're good. And now all of a sudden this guy says you're not good. And here we are. I mean, that's blatantly unfair. Whether or not it was accidental or by design, it's still like, okay, that's not fair, but that's the way things happen. All right. There's not a hell of a lot of there's a distinction, but you know, if I drive 75 miles an hour on 275 every day and I go by 3 officers, Huron officers and they don't stop me because I'm only going 5 over, but the state stops me and writes me for going 1 to 6 over. It's kind of unfair, but clearly I violated the law. You follow me?
Yeah, but you're comparing two different departments.
It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to make that argument.
Right, which is what I told you way back when. It's like, hey, I get it, it's unfair, but the tickets were issued. We got to go through the process and deal with it. Hold on, stop. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to deal with the unfairness in the process. Okay?
Yeah.
Right, which, and I get what you're saying, but again, if I was charging this in, say, Flat Rock, and I tried pulling this over Huron told me, then I get that.
Oh, absolutely. Your argument's much stronger in Huron. Absolutely. And once again, I'm feeling it. Okay. I told you from the beginning, I get it. It's not, it stinks. Okay.
Here's the fact. If you go past 3 or 4 cops every day, and they're local city cops, and they don't pull you over for doing 5 to 10 over, but you get a state cop who does, maybe, just maybe, the local law enforcement need to wake up, get off their asses, and start pulling people over for violations of 1 to 6. Yeah, they usually don't like to deal with 1 to 6 because a lot of speedos have a discrepancy. I've driven a car where the speedo has said 50 k's an hour. I've been doing either 45 or 55, depending on whether I'm going downhill. What can I say? The speedos are not accurate. As soon as they leave the factory, they lose a degree of accuracy. And that could just be with, I don't know, something as simple as it's a hot day and it's not the same temperature it was in the factory when the speedo was tested and certified. It could be it's a colder day than it was, than whatever the aircon in the factory was set at when it was tested. Stuff like that would throw the speedo off, which is why a lot of coppers won't give a shit between 1 and 6. Over here, where I am at in New Zealand, I have noticed a lot not giving a shit between 1 and 10. If you're doing, say, 61 to 65 kilometers an hour in a 50 zone, they will ticket you for that. If you're doing 55 to 60, most of the time they'll turn a blind eye. Don't ask me why, but yeah, it's just, it sucks. And people will say it's lack of police on the front lines, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. Speeding can be as dangerous as any other crime. Any other crime. Doesn't matter what it is. It can be as dangerous as another crime. Because it can cost a life. Now, whether that life was worth it or not, I guess it's up for the individual who caused the loss of life to sort out for themselves and make peace with. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't know. I don't know what speed this guy was caught doing. And I don't know what the posted speed limit was. They haven't said, they've just given examples, and it's hard to tell from that whether it's a 60-mile-an-hour zone and he's been doing 1 to 6 over, whether that's a 70-mile-an-hour zone and he's been doing 80 plus. It's hard to tell.
Do you know what the process is to register the Terex to put it on the road?
I get it with the state's processes to register vehicles.
How long would it take? If you know, I don't have a clue.
That's been in the part of, if I was looking to do that, I would, but again, I've been confirmed that I had my lawful right to travel.
Probably all up 24 hours, maybe slightly less or more, depending how long the queue is to get it seen by the inspector. If I was to build a car from scratch, put the safety stuff on it, get it where it had to be, etc., go and get it vehicle identified, which we call VIN. I'm looking at about 3 to 4 days of it, where the vehicle has to be literally put on a trailer or truck, taken to the inspection facility, and it takes them about 2 or 3 days to do their job, and then return the vehicle and have the yay or nay. So all up, if you say a working week, you'll be close over here. For a brand spanking new vehicle, that is. If you've literally bought one from an importer or something, they've got to register the car in New Zealand when they import it. So that part's all been done for you.
By several different, including, again, this all stems from the traffic sergeant in here, I'm telling you that I have to all right to do what I have to do. So I don't have any intention.
Well, what do you think the chances are of him coming in here and testify to that?
I don't think that he would incriminate himself.
So you're planning on issuing, no? So you're going to issue a subpoena to him for trial?
And his fiance or girlfriend, because she was also the one relaying all the information to my wife about the same thing. So yeah, I would absolutely subpoena both of them have them come here. I have a whole slew of people on the subpoena in there.
Are you willing to register the Terex? If it helped resolve things?
I remember you was pointing out that you would like to have a traveling argument. If I got brought into
No, don't go the traveling argument. To resolve these issues, would you be willing to register your vehicle with the state of Michigan, the Terex?
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
Registering this vehicle with the state would actually make this go 100,000% faster, mate. In fact, it would probably get dismissed and you could count a win.
Yeah, there's other arguments that I have lots of stuff to show where the conflict with that is too.
The conflict is, I will not contract with the state, even though you are contracting, being here in court today. If you want to take the word contract to its root, you are contracting, showing up to court. You are you have acknowledged the jurisdiction, which in itself is a contract of sorts. Doesn't have to be a written, signed with wet ink or whatever. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but you can have a verbal contract too. And that's what a lot of soft-sits don't understand.
But again, that's not what we're here for.
What do you think we're here for?
ORV and road. We're not here for registration, none of that stuff. That wasn't part of.
But I'm trying to resolve issues. Okay. All right, because
I'm not just going to run around and make this big deal with here on. I'm not a criminal, I have no criminal history, I was just doing something I was lawfully had the right to do, it was confirmed I had lawful right to do. And then now here we all are dealing with all this, and I'm being targeted by people that, I've got good friends that work in the department, we've been, again, we've known averages, we've been a part of this forever, and then now all of a sudden.
Here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing you want your trial. Because I don't think anything else is going to satisfy you other than to get the trial.
This needs to be dismissed, but it should have been, yeah.
But you don't have a legal argument that I can hang my hat on to dismiss it.
I had all sorts of legal aspects to show that the whole beginning of this was like all awful stuff.
You've never even argued that. You've never filed a motion to dismiss for lack of probable cause.
In the very beginning, and you dismissed it saying, "Oh, I find probable cause," just because I have all the reporting.
Oh, you did. Yeah, you did. Because I said you're going down the roadway and you're doing something he thinks is illegal, gives him a right to stop it.
Yeah, but again, that goes back to the point that we had interactions and he chose to retaliate instead of going to talk to a traffic sergeant who's above him, right? Who is ahead of the traffic, who's the one that confirmed that I had every lawful right to do what I was doing.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Who is above Sergeant Bryce, and he confirmed that operating an automated roadway is, that's why it's a very chief citation.
Yeah, but you don't think it's gonna be problematic if Price sits on the stand, says 2 different times I told him he could do what he was doing.
And also since I did make contact with Mr. Crusoe multiple times, notifying him that he was not to operate an RV in the roadway. And during the stop, Mr. Crusoe himself said I was waiting for this.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, if Price sits there and says on 2 different occasions, I told this guy that he could operate that vehicle on these roads, I can't see any trier of fact convicting him of the RV.
That's true. Why didn't we have him here for our trials?
I don't know.
Again, because there's all sorts of issues, and all that paper I've been filing, there's issues the whole entire time. I had no intentions of doing any trial, and I just sat here the other day when I said I'm not participating, especially in a trial that ends in a court that owned by the state, you're owned by the state.
Let's talk about that.
Oh, hey,
Hold on. Let's talk about that because I highlighted that when I got your motion last week or whatever it was. Okay. That's not the case. Okay. Huron Township, let me finish. Huron Township is bringing the charge against you. It's the Township of Huron versus you. It's not the state of Michigan.
It says the state of, even one of those, not even says the state of Michigan against.
It's a separate legal entity.
And
well,
Neil Gorsuch is, Justice Gorsuch, he's even coming out in the rating center, even talking about how courts like these, that's what they're doing. They're denying people their rights and they're only bringing the charges and judging their own cases. That is exactly what it is. You can't have a fair trial that way. Absolutely not. And not to mention that.
All right, well, let me stop you. That's the way our system is at this point in time. That's the only system we've got is where the judiciary runs the courts, the legislature creates the law, and the executive branch enforces them. That's the system we have. If you don't like it, work to change it, but that's the system you've been charged in, and that's the system you've got.
And with the Chevron deference case being overturned, that explicitly stops them all of referring to the statutory, all this stuff, the statutory stuff.
All right, you're getting nowhere with any of those arguments, Mr. Crusoe. You're not going to get anywhere with those arguments at this level. So the only thing you can do is get a judgment here that you can appeal to the next level and appeal that to the next level. And ultimately you may end up at the US Supreme Court and have somebody agree with you, but you can't, that doesn't work here. We've got to deal with what we've got. I've got to deal with the precedents that we've got in place now, not your arguments that you think are going to be accepted down the road. That's the reality. All right. You and I can sit down over a cup of coffee, or I don't drink coffee, but whatever, and talk about how there are, problems with the system. But the system we have now is the only system I've got to work, and I'm going to work it. So what I'm hearing from you is we got to get a trial date, and let you get a decision. If you win, beautiful, you can stop there. If you lose, you're moving up the appeal chain. Because none of the arguments you've got apply here. Your travel argument. I'm not buying that. That's never been accepted anywhere that I know of that I've got any reason to follow. I told you.
State's auditors, they've been doing it for a very long time.
Say that again.
The state is, but the state is going and trying to take people's right to travel and saying that everybody has to have his license and all these things.
Absolutely. And but hold on. It's well-established law, might be changed somewhere down the road, but currently it's well-established law that if you're traveling by means of a motor vehicle, you have to have a operator's license.
Thanks for the federal codes and all the states.
This is not a federal court, sir. This is not a federal court.
Okay, go back to Florida, right? Show it again. It's another ambiguous statute.
Okay, look, I'm not going to argue this. I've already argued this with you. I've made it clear from day one that your traveling argument dies. It doesn't go anywhere in this court. So stop arguing that. It's not going to get you to where you need to be, which is to resolve these files one way or the other so you can appeal it if you want to.
Good point, Judge. Good point. He won't let it die, though. Can guarantee you. His travelling argument has died in this court, but he won't let it die.
You follow me?
Well, I'm getting very loving to take it, yes.
No, it's not where I want you to take it. It's where you have to take it, because we're not gonna have these same arguments ad infinitum over and over and over again. We're gonna close these files at some point.
Should close the month.
But that's because you want them to, doesn't mean it's going to happen that way. I'm not going to dismiss these just because you don't like the way things went down. I don't like the way things went down. But the process has to be followed. As much as I would like to just make this go away, I'm not going to agree with you just to make the case go away.
It's very obvious what took place.
No, it's not. But once again, Mr. Costello, it's obvious to you, but you're not the guy up here in the black robe that's making the decisions. It's obvious to you because that's the only way you can see it. And I get that. Right? I get it. It's your position. You're passionate about your position, but where you're losing it is you just won't accept the fact that I don't agree with you. I'm in charge and it's got to move forward. That's just the reality of it. And once again, man, I hope you appeal it. I hope you make some new law. Good for you.
I mean,
So now we need a trial date.
which I completed, that's the trial.
But once again, I don't care if you object. Listen to me. Listen to me.
This guy wanted a trial earlier on. And now he objects to a trial. When the judge is ready to set a trial date, this guy objects. What the?
To me. It's not being dismissed. That means we have to try it to make it go away. That's the way the process works.
Again, how is one supposed to be, and again, you yourself, and I've watched you in numerous other videos, okay, I've seen, because you make yourself, you're on TikTok all over the place. And I see the things you say to everyone, it's very obvious, and you yourself has even admitted to seeing things the same way. There is no way that I would ever have a fair trial, any way, shape, or form.
And that's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Once again, just because I happen to agree with the prosecutor or any other party in a case doesn't mean I'm biased against the other party. At any point in time, I've got to make a decision. Somebody's right, somebody's wrong.
Right, to make it seem like you're not, but it is exactly how it is. The prosecutor and these courts, they work together.
But
all by the state.
Then once again, Mr. Crissell, then you need to appeal my decision when I told you I was not going to recuse myself. You should have appealed that. But we're not going to keep plowing the same.
Oh yes, please appeal that. Please appeal it. I want to see that footage.
Field. I'm going to set a trial date and you're going to be here for trial or I'm going to issue a bench warrant. I don't know any other way to resolve the file. I've got to resolve these files. You need these files resolved. If you want to appeal me, you got to have a decision to appeal.
Yeah.
So, you keep sitting there and say, I'm not going to participate in a trial. At some point, you have to, if you want these to go away. And hear my heart, if I knew of another way to get you to where you want to go, I'd throw that suggestion out there. But once again, I'm not just going to roll over and say, okay, case dismissed, because I don't buy your legal arguments.
Which is, again, wild to me because it's very clearly that this ORV thing is being overly applied because it's not.
But once again, it's clear to you. I just told you I don't agree with you. But you can't accept the fact that I might disagree with you. That's unhealthy. I mean, you can believe I'm wrong. That's okay. But you got to accept the fact that I'm in the judgment seat and I've said you're wrong. Then appeal me. That's the way the process works. I understand you think the process is faulty, but that's the process we have. So if you've got some other way to resolve these files, a suggestion, I'm open to hear it. But the only thing I can say is we got to get a trial scheduled and let the chips fall. And I'd love to have you bring Officer Price in here. Because I told you from the beginning, I believe that inadvertent or not otherwise, the Township of Huron kind of set you up to get the ORV ticket. Because I believe that you've been told in the past that you were okay. I believe that.
100%.
But I can't do anything with it here. Put Price on the stand and he says, I guess I was wrong because I told him he could do that. So what are we going to do? You ready to set a trial?
Leaving with no other option.
There is, I don't know of any other option, Mr. Crisell. I honestly, brother, I don't know of any other option.
Well, I mean, again,
Because I can't keep kicking the can down the road. I mean, I can't have this, I can't retire down the road and still have these open files here. I mean, I'm not doing my job. And I don't think it's doing you any good.
been a nuisance.
What's it going on? Year and a half now? Closer to 2, coming on 2. No, it was February 24. 24. Yeah.
Well,
All right. So you want a bench trial? You want a jury trial? All right. You're going to represent yourself? Okay. Let's get a date.
Can you do January 30th? Thursday.
January 30th. It's in the calendar. It's in the calendar, people. I'll keep an eye out for that one. January 30th.
You? What day was it? Thursday? Yes. All right. So you're going to send the prosecutor an email with a specific date for that video you're looking for, or that body cam footage, I should say. Right? Okay. No further motions. We're going to trial. Well, the only other motion I'll entertain now is if it's a discovery motion. Understood, Mr. Crisell? All right. Questions? All right. Good luck.
Real quick, I do believe we're gonna go through files here in the firm. You guys have a bench warrant.
You got a bench warrant for something?
Yeah.
What's it?
Oops.
I'm missing.
And the case number for.
No else.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right. We can get you a case or a court date for that, ma'am. Mr. Crisell, we've got a speeding ticket that's got nothing to do with this incident, I think, from August 21, 24.
Signing this with retaliation stuff.
Okay. Who was that officer?
Awesome, Harold.
Okay. Did Merrill have anything to do with the other ones?
My wife on her dead end of the road, and again, that's.
Hold on. Merrill didn't have anything to do with the February incident, did he?
Not bad, no.
Okay. All right.
Title, but
So what are you gonna do on this? Once again, it's in default because you didn't do anything with it. So
I
what do
need
you do
to
with
do
it?
that. Paperwork, no one responded to anything to my paperwork.
What'd you file on this?
I got I gave the bubble in there.
Yeah, none of that does anything. That's more of the bullshit that we just ignore that stuff. So you want a hearing? Well, if you want him to prove it, then you ask for a hearing. You don't just file paperwork.
I told her if it wants to go to the date, you can give me a date. Especially post one.
Okay. Okay, well, you don't ask the clerk if she wants to set a date. If you want to fight a ticket, you say, I want to contest this ticket, I need a hearing. So do you want a formal hearing date? I'll give you a formal hearing date. All right. You want to do that before the jury trial? Sure, I'd have any formal hearing dates coming up.
We can do it on December 10th, so we'll keep it.
December 10th?
Okay. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, yeah. Just my regular Tuesday, you mean?
It's a Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
So formal hearing, what time do you do it? December 10th?
Do 10:30.
She's here all morning, so I'm asking you, 10:30?
And that's on the speed.
Yeah, the case ending in 143?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Then the other civil infraction is the CCW disclosure thing.
Which goes-
That's going with the February. You understood that?
We can do that before or after the.
Usually after. Yeah, understood? That was a yes?
Yeah, I got you.
So they've said a few
makes-
All right, anything else, folks?
Nine.
Denied.
few dates there.
Motion to dismiss denied. Although I did like the argument.
So we'll do more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you get a notice for her?
Yeah, she's got it on.
Ms. Purcell, your bench warrant has been set aside.
Yeah. we'll send-
What is that? That's a misdemeanor though. What date you give her?
It'll be you. It's in
The 10th?
when you
January.
Oh wow.
Sorry.
And your position, remember? I'm sorry.
There we go, people. There we go. Hang on. Do this one. All right. Had to see what that one was about because I saw it pop up on so many other channels and I was just like, okay, obviously I'm late to the party, but this is obviously something big. And I go over there, it's the only one on the stream and it starts late, so we don't even get to hear the whole that thing in all capital letters is not my name. Darn. So, yeah. I'm going to punch into Judge Middleton's room for a little bit. See what's up over there. And pretty much just chill.
First one's yours.
Mr. Ocampo?
No, we're gonna do the interpreter case
Oh,
first.
no, it's Matt.
Matt, as your client was out in the hall.
Yeah, he's in the Zoom room, the judge.
Why don't you go ahead and bring him in, Luke?
Oh, okay.
Ross, those people I was waiting for to show up live were here by Zoom, so
Yeah, I saw that.
I was misunderstanding.
That
So they were here, so that's good.
is good.
Luke, would you have him take his hat off? It is the time for the sentencing in the matter of People versus Francisco Diaz Perez.
La gente contra el señor Francisco Díaz Pérez, este es el día de la condena, señor.
With us today to interpret is Señor Pablo Bello,
El intérprete es el señor Pablo Bello.
and I'm going to take a minute and swear our interpreter in.
Le vamos a tomar el juramento al intérprete.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to the best of your ability you will interpret these matters from Spanish into English and English into Spanish.
Yes, I do.
Senor Diaz Perez was charged with operating while intoxicated and leaving the scene of a property damage accident.
Señor Díaz Pérez, le están imputando el cargo de que estaba usted manejando bajo la influencia del alcohol y de que se fue del lugar del accidente después de causar daño.
The Sturgis City Attorney
El fiscal de la ciudad
dismissed the leaving the scene charge
le retiró el cargo de que se fue usted de la escena del accidente
and agreed not to charge high blood alcohol level
y está de acuerdo a no tomar en cuenta el nivel de alcohol que tenía usted en la sangre.
Hello?
Excuse me.
They agreed not to charge the higher charge.
Está de acuerdo en no ponerle un cargo más alto por el nivel de alcohol que tenía usted en la sangre.
Senor Bello, my recollection is that Spanish is not Mr. Diaz Perez's first language.
Señor Díaz Pérez, yo recuerdo que usted, el español no es su primer idioma.
He was raised on a dialect of
Mixteco.
regional language.
Yeah, Mixteco. Dice el juez que usted habla Mixteco, señor, ¿verdad?
No,
¿Qué habla?
yo hablo Tzotzil.
Tzotzil.
Ujú.
Tzotzil is a Mayan language, Your Honor. He speaks.
Yes. It is very interesting to me that he speaks a language that's probably 4,000 years old.
Muy interesante que usted hable un idioma que tiene más o menos unos 4,000 años de antigüedad, ¿no?
If history were different, maybe we'd be all speaking that language today.
Si la historia fuera diferente, a lo mejor estuviéramos hablando ese idioma ahora.
My point is, Mr. Diaz Perez, I want to make sure that you understand everything.
Bueno, a lo que quiero llegar es que quiero que usted entienda todo lo que le estoy diciendo, señor Díaz Pérez.
If you don't understand, will you let me know and we'll try to make sure that you do understand?
Por favor, si no entiende usted algo, dígamelo de inmediato para que yo me asegure que usted está entendiendo lo que yo le estoy diciendo.
Okay.
Okay.
You are here with your lawyer, Mr. Luke Knopfsinger.
¿Está usted aquí con su abogado, el señor Luke Lassinger?
Also present is Matt Huff from the probation department,
También está el señor Matt Homer del Departamento de Libertad Condicional.
who met with you and did the pre-sentence report.
Él ya se entrevistó con usted y ya hizo él un reporte de la precondena.
Once you got stopped by the police,
Usted lo detuvo la policía.
for the most part, you were cooperative.
Dice, usted cooperó con la policía cuando lo detuvo la policía.
And pretty straightforward about things.
Y nos dijo todo lo que sucedió, ¿no?
But because you drank so much,
Pero como usted bebe demasiado,
I'm not sure that you have a clear memory of everything that happened.
no creo que tenga usted, recuerde todo lo que sucedió.
No, ya no me acuerdo porque antes del pedo como ese día me agarró.
No, I don't remember that day that I was arrested.
Mr. Knopfsinger, what would you like me to know?
Señor Lassinger, ¿qué le gustaría que yo supiera?
Couple things, Judge. He has no criminal history.
Varias cosas, su señoría, él no tiene un récord criminal.
And the leaving the scene charge was based on hitting a street sign.
Él dice que se fue de la escena del accidente después de que le pegó a un señalamiento de tránsito.
He works hard.
No me acuerdo nada.
I don't remember.
He doesn't remember, Judge.
Yes.
No recuerda.
He's making a life for himself. I think he was afraid what happened. He is still afraid about what could happen, possible immigration consequences.
Él tiene miedo de lo que suceda, tenía miedo en ese entonces y tiene miedo de las consecuencias con el servicio de inmigración.
I understand that there's a recommendation for jail time without probation. I want to suggest to the court that maybe there can be some terms of probation here, maybe participation in highway safety or victim impact panel.
Dice que las consecuencias podrían ser ir a la cárcel como castigo, pero al abogado está pidiendo que por favor le den unas clases de vialidad y de seguridad en las carreteras.
Thank you, Judge.
Gracias, su señoría.
Give me a moment. Mr. Huff, what would you like me to know?
There are certainly some aggravating factors. Sorry, go ahead.
¿Qué le gustaría que supiera, señor? Le está pidiendo al fiscal que le diga.
There are certainly some aggravating factors present in this case.
Hay algunos agravantes en este caso.
Mr. Diaz-Perez was nearly 3 times the legal limit when he ran over a street sign.
El señor Díaz tenía un nivel de intoxicación de 3 veces arriba del nivel del alcohol que se permite beber cuando le pegó al señalamiento de tráfico.
Sí, como te digo, pues yo no me acuerdo nada de ese día.
Espere, señor, está hablando el fiscal, deje que hable el fiscal, por favor. A ver.
He then drove away from the scene of the accident.
Él no se fue en su coche de la escena del accidente.
He reported drinking approximately 24 beers that evening.
Él dice que se tomó unas 24 cervezas esa noche.
which suggests he's underreporting his relationship with alcohol.
Estamos sugiriendo que no se reportó su problema de alcoholismo.
He did express remorse for his actions that night.
Él se muestra arrepentido por lo que sucedió esa noche.
My recommendation comes down to this one point.
Mi recomendación es este punto.
I spoke with Mr. Diaz-Perez about his ability to comply with probation.
Yo hablé con el señor Díaz para que tenga libertad condicional.
And he does not believe he would be able to do so.
Dice que él no lo va a poder hacer, dice.
He doesn't have a driver's license, nor does he have a vehicle.
No tiene licencia de manejo, no tiene automóvil.
He works first shift in White Pigeon.
Él trabaja el primer turno en White Pigeon.
So testing would be near impossible.
Entonces, el que le estén haciendo pruebas para ver si está tomando va a ser imposible.
During my discussion with Mr. Diaz-Perez,
Durante mi discusión con el señor Díaz Pérez,
he did agree that simply serving some jail may be his best option.
que probablemente servir unos días en la cárcel sería la mejor opción.
So my recommendation is simply for some jail to serve and for this case to be closed.
Entonces, mi recomendación es que pase unos días en la cárcel y cerramos el caso.
Thank you.
Gracias.
You have a wife and children in Mexico.
Usted tiene su esposa y sus hijos en México, ¿no?
Sí,
Yes.
And you send money home to them each month?
¿Y les manda dinero cada mes?
sí, ahorita casi no mando pues porque ya están ganando bien poquito donde están trabajando la paleta.
Yes, but these days it's very cheap what they pay at the pallets.
We have lots of cases this year with young Mexican men
Tenemos muchos casos este año de jóvenes mexicanos
and some from Central America
y algunos de Centroamérica
who are here without their families
que están aquí sin sus familias
and out without lawful residency status
sin la residencia legal permanente
and without a driver's license.
y sin licencia de manejo.
And they're here, they're lonely,
Están aquí, están solos
and sometimes they drink too much.
y algunas
Sturgis.
tengo varios casos de story
Like this,
como similar a este,
where there was an accident and the driver didn't have residency status or a driver's license.
la persona que se involucró en el accidente no tiene residencia legal y no tiene tampoco licencia de manejo.
You were very intoxicated.
Usted estaba muy intoxicado.
I think your report of 24 beers was probably close to accurate.
Eso que dijo que se bebió 24 cervezas, yo creo que eso fue exacto lo que dijo.
And what Mr. Huff was talking about
Y lo que estaba lo que está hablando el fiscal
is that you have to have built up a tolerance
uno tiene que construir una tolerancia para beber tanto, ¿no?
to drink that much beer
Para beber tanta cerveza
without either getting sick or falling asleep.
para no enfermarse o quedarse dormido con tanta cerveza, ¿no?
someone that can get their blood alcohol to 0.195.
Alguien que tiene un nivel de alcohol en la sangre de 4.5
has developed a tolerance by drinking a lot.
ha desarrollado un nivel de tolerancia al alcohol bebiendo demasiado siempre.
And I'm very glad that you didn't kill yourself
Me da mucho gusto que no se haya matado
or someone else,
o haya matado a alguien más,
even worse.
o peor.
What I'm doing might kill it, it might not. We'll have to see.
However, I've had several of those this year too.
Sin embargo, he tenido varios de esos casos este año también.
Where a drunk driver hit somebody and killed them.
Un borracho le pegó a alguien y lo mató.
All right, this carries a $300 fine,
$300 de multa,
$75 crime victims' rights fee,
$75 para las víctimas de crímenes,
a $100 screening fee,
$100 para la prueba del alcoholismo,
$150 attorney fee,
$150 para la persona que, para el abogado, perdón.
Thank you.
Hay otro cargo de $225, dice el fiscal.
$130.
$930 en total.
Due by December 31st.
Eso es para diciembre 31. Tiene que pagar ese dinero.
Money you can't send back to your family.
Dinero que no va a poder mandar a su familia.
I'm going to order 3 days of jail credit 1.
Le voy a ordenar que pase 3 días en la cárcel, pero ya le voy a dar crédito por un día que ya pasó en la cárcel. Son 2 días nada más de cárcel.
I suspect that after the new president is sworn in,
Yo sospecho después de que el nuevo presidente tome juramento,
these types of cases will be resulting more and more in deportation.
estos casos van a resultar en deportaciones, ¿no?
But 2 days is not very long and
2 días no es mucho.
will not come to the notice of the Immigration Service.
Esos 10 días, ojalá que no, los agentes de inmigración no vengan por usted durante esos 2 días.
And the problem for all the young men like you that have families in Mexico
Y el problema con todos los
Right.
jóvenes que vienen de México, que
think
tienen
that-
familias allá en México,
I think that
they can't go back and forth.
no pueden ir y venir, ¿no?
You can't go back to Mexico and visit your family
No puede ir a México a visitar a su familia
and then come back here and return to your job.
y regresar aquí a su trabajo.
And so I don't know that the plan is to never go back and see your family or at some point to go back.
Entonces no sé si usted esté planeando regresar a ver a su familia o ya no regresar nunca.
But you're going to serve that 2 days of jail right now.
Pero se va a ir a la cárcel 2 días ahora mismo. Okay.
All right, you can go with the officer.
Eso es todo, señor. Vaya con el oficial.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you, Honor. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Have a good Thanksgiving, Lord.
Our next case is file number 241677OD, People versus Jason Ocampo. Mr. Ocampo was here as his lawyer, Casey Strong. He is a young man from Sturgis who got arrested for drinking driving within a few days of our last defendant, also in Sturgis. This matter was reduced to impaired driving, and the matter was set for sentencing today. Daniel Frazine is here, and he prepared the screening report. And Ms. Strong, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. As highlighted in the report, I would thank Mr. Frazine for his conversation with my client and his well thought out report and recommendation. Aside from making some notes about Mr. Ocampo himself, I would ask the court go along with the recommendation. As highlighted by Mr. Frazine, this is a timeout probation. Mr. Ocampo has not been in trouble before. He has no criminal history nor any prior alcohol related offenses. So this is an opportunity for him to be on a term of probation and make sure that there's not a substance abuse issue on the horizon. In this current instance, he did hit a parked car and he was preparing to go in and speak with the owner regarding the parked car. At every opportunity, while this was a bad choice to begin with, at every opportunity, Mr. Ocampo has done the right thing. He was going to speak with the owner. He has showed up early and on time for every court hearing. He's been in communication with me. He is a member of the military service. He serves this country proudly. And I think that Mr. Ocampo is going to be a wonderful candidate on probation. And respectfully, I hope not to see him again. And I think he shares that hope. Thank you.
I hope not to see you again either. So we're unanimous in that. Nothing good happens at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you hit a parked car. Again, I'm glad that you weren't killed.
Okay, I'm gonna hand this over to Judge Fletcher because he said it's so much better than that.
Nothing good happens at 1 in the morning, especially with you going 70 and a 30.
I just heard this week, yesterday or the day before, of some young man that hit a parked car here near us, and someone was in the car. At any rate, not likely at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're young, you don't have a family, you don't have children, you're in the military. You're very accepting of responsibility, but you had quite a bit too. You were 0.175. Daniel did a thoughtful report here. He's recommending a probation and then I hang some time over your head. I put the last gentleman in jail for 2 days. He hit something and kept driving. He had no valid driver's license, and his blood alcohol level was higher than yours. He also didn't wish to do a probation, so it left me without a lot of options. The recommendation was for more time than that, but I just gave him 2 days. Your recommendation is for a probation. Mr. Frazine, what would you like me to know?
Well, I think it's all been pretty covered. It sounds like he's going to look out with his garden stuff. He was honest with his supervisor, and they basically are going to let it handle with however it's handled today. He was very respectful for me. I think this is somebody's getting together, and without a lot of life experience, he made a really poor decision, which he's luckily to just have results, probably a probation and some fines and costs. And I have a very strong feeling that if we see him again, it will not be for drinking and driving. So I'm hoping that the court will follow at least mostly this recommendation. And I think that he will do okay.
Mr. Ocampo, is there anything you want to tell me?
I haven't drank since the accident about 3 months ago. Been sober.
All right, well, I don't know that you can't ever drink again. You're only 22. I talk to people every week that have serious long-term alcohol dependency. But I also talk to lots of young people that get a drunk driving and then never get another one for the rest of their lives. In fact, the fact is that's probably more common, that people get a drunk driving once and we never see them again. Because it's embarrassing, it's expensive, it's humiliating. Nobody wants to go to jail, and maybe one will last a lifetime. The problem is the people I see more of are the ones that get arrested again and again. And I've had several cases recently where someone got a drunk driving, was on bond for drunk driving, and got arrested again before the first case was even resolved. I've got probably 4 of those right now. A young woman's got a really bad problem. You got no criminal record. You've not been in trouble. You don't have anything on your driving record, but you were 2 times over the legal limit. You hit a car. So none of that is good. His recommendation is for probation, which is the current status of things that presumes there will be a probation. You've got a good job at Abbott. You've got a lot going for you, that more than a lot of people that I see. Do you still live at home?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
So your overhead is being covered. They say that young people that have a job and live at home have more disposable income than anybody, which is why everybody advertises them so much. But you're going to have to spend some of your money on me. There's a $300 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, a $100 screening fee, $150 attorney fee, police reimbursement, again, with an accident and a blood draw, is $255. I am going to do the victim impact panel, which is $32. And a probation oversight fee, which is $480. That could be reduced if you do the probation in less than 12 months. I'm going to order 12 months probation. And the conditions are no drugs and no alcohol. Ms. Strong referred to this as a timeout probation. And you've already given yourself a timeout. You haven't had a drink in 2 months. When you played football, you were concerned about being at your best, not being diminished by alcohol. So you need to be at your best for a while too. Drug and alcohol testing as directed by the probation department, substance abuse counseling and treatment as recommended by the probation department. I'm not telling you you can't ever work again. And I'm going to do 10 hours of community work service. Recommendation was 24. We're going to do 10. I'm going to order 3 days jail, credit 1, leaving 2 days to serve. And I'm going to defer those other 2 days. If you do what I ask you to do, you're not going to do any additional jail time. If you don't, they can just order the 2 days and potentially up to 93. I think you're going to comply with all the terms of your probation. Let's add up all that money. I mentioned how expensive it is. 300 plus 75 plus 50 plus 100 plus 150 plus 480 plus 255
Okay, whoops, that went a bit weird. Okay, and this Judge Middleton's just finished adding up the monies that this guy owes, and it's come out to 1,442.
Don't have any bond money. They gave you a PR bond. I don't know if I am imagining things due to immediacy of the memories, but it just seems we've had a lot of drunk driving cases this year. And most of them are from Three Rivers and Sturgis. We've also had several fatal accidents this year. Terrible ones. One of our assistant prosecutors was killed by a drunk driver on her way to work. And getting worse than that, leaving a family and little kids. Another guy was going 100 miles an hour down the road, and they're waiting for his blood results to come back. He killed 2 people about 3 weeks ago. And I could go on and on. So I'm glad you're not in that category. Time to take your pill. All right, I want you to go downstairs with Daniel. He'll get you started on this. When's your next weekend on
I
deployment?
have to check the schedule, but it's next month. Probably the first week or the second week.
And where do you go?
Battle Creek,
And then you go for how long in the summer?
about 2 weeks.
You ever think about going full active?
Not at this moment right now.
All right. Well, you go with Daniel. I think you're gonna be fine, and I don't think we're gonna see you. And that would be fine with me.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, that completes our morning. If we never had another fatal traffic accident, that would be all right with me, but there are more coming.
All right, that's Judge Middleton's over and done with. I'm going to quickly jump over to this one. This is a 4-hour live stream from Judge Fletcher. The thumbnail didn't look like I had many in there. But what I'm seeing on the face of the video right now is it's got a full room. So, yeah.
Is it Lawrence?
Yeah.
That's always a battle.
It's not that I'm need somebody to approach to set up on.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Also, it's almost it's almost everything. And the last one.
All right, nerds, ready? Let's roll.
All right, then first is case 2. Baez, Noah, come on up.
Take your hands out of your pocket.
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Thanks. Ms. Biza, probable cause has already been found on your cases. You now know we mean business. We're not here to play games. We take bond conditions extremely serious. And when you don't, and when you flaunt the rules, we have jails here for you. I'm now making it a condition of your bond that you're not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. And I'm now going to put a scram ankle monitor on you so I know that you're not consuming alcohol at any time. Be careful what you put in your body. I don't care what you come up here saying that you have that made it go positive. I don't care if it's makeup, hair dye, a tequila lollipop, cakes, candies, foods, gums, whatever it may be. You test positive, I'm going to put you in, and this time I will triple, if not quadruple the bond. Do you understand? No alcohol, no drugs. You're going to be randomly tested. You'll also have this scram ankle monitor. No going to any bars, clubs, places that 51% or more of alcohol is sold. Do you understand? I'm gonna have you sign a reset, and then we're gonna have you take a seat in the jury box. We'll wait for your lawyer to get here, and then we'll have a speak with him, and that's it.
All right, Judge, next is page 10, Fuentes, come on up.
Did we put a, Felicia, did we put a GPS as well? Yeah.
GPS with a 9 and 6 a.m. curfew.
Do it, yeah.
And I saw the no drives as well, Judge.
Yeah. Okay, Vic, what page?
Page 10.
Rosalba Fuentes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Fuentes, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes,
Oh.
Judge. On November 17, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a residence in Harris County, Texas, in reference to a past assault. The officer made contact with the victim, who stated that he was separated from the defendant and had been staying at a different location for the time being, and that on that day, the defendant, he told the defendant he was going to come by the residence to pick up his firearm. The CW, the complainant, said that while they were inside the residence, the defendant handed him an empty firearm box. However, she was holding the firearm in her hand with a holster. The complainant said the defendant did not threaten with or point the firearm at him, but would not give him the firearm, so he decided to leave, and she blocked him at the front door. The complainant stated that he then decided to leave through the garage, at which time the defendant blocked him again, and the complainant said he was finally able to leave, and then grabbed the firearm from the defendant, who then struck him in the right side of his face with her hand. The complainant informed the officer that he felt pain.
Oh, of course he felt
And I
pain.
think if you
was
said
a
that they were on
threat.
the outs, right?
I apologize.
As far as
Yes, they were separated.
relationship, it's on the outs?
Yeah, they were separated.
Okay. Ms. Fuentes, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. There is a protective order that has been issued in this case. I would get to know it. If you do something to violate the protective order, the state can and will file additional charges against you. They'll file a violation of protective order, and then it'll go sideways real quick. I'm ordering you not to have any contact with this person, not to be in possession of weapons. As long as you can abide by these conditions, you and I will be fine. Otherwise, I'm going to lock you up. All I wanted to do is protect my county, and I'll do it by however any means. You understand? Okay. Do you mind filing no contact and no weapons? What do you do for a living, Ms. Fuentes?
Excuse me?
What do you do for a living?
I'm a provider. I take care of my mom.
You do what?
I'm a health.
So home health care.
Yes, sir.
And how much money do you make from that?
I work 29 hours a week.
On average, how much are you making today?
Monthly, like 200.
Do you have any children? Do you have any other sources of income? Did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see. I have one already. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and grant it. I'm gonna have you speak with Victoria. We're gonna have you sign a reset. After that, I'll have you take your seat in the jury box. Remember, if he calls you, don't answer the phone. If he texts you, do not reply. If he comes to your house, don't open the door. You're not to go within the address listed in this order for protection. If you do, you're gonna end up in jail. And I don't know who you have in your life, but if I make your bond 10,000 and you don't have anyone to pony up that kind of money, you'll be stuck like Chuck in there until this thing is over with. So take care when you're out there.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Understand.
please.
Thank you.
All right, Judge, page 18, Martinez, Dominic. Come on up.
Dominic Martinez. Mr. Martinez, you're charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you. Oh. Looks like he just picked up a DWI.
Yes, Judge.
He's been on bond for an assault of a family member, and now he picked up a DWI second.
It was just filed on the 21st of this.
Going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir.
Probable cause on the DWI or
Yeah.
On November 21st of 2024, the officer observed a motor vehicle traveling eastbound in Harris County, Texas, weaving in and out of its lane. The officer observed the vehicle to cross over the traffic line dividers with its driver's side tires, and the officer then ran the vehicle's license plate through NCIC and observed the registration to be expired as of September 2024. The traffic stop was initiated, and the officer made contact with the driver, the defendant. The officer was handed a Texas ID, not a driver's license, and upon researching this, the officer found that the driver's license of the defendant was not eligible and that he had an outstanding warrant. Furthermore, the officer noted the prevalent odor of an alcoholic beverage emanating from inside the vehicle, and the officer observed droopy eyelids and the defendant to have poor coordination in looking for his wallet. The defendant was removed from his vehicle, and the officer further noted slurred speech, red, glassy, watery, bloodshot eyes, and the smell of a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The officer noted that the defendant's speech was also very dry and that the defendant had cotton mouth, and the officer observed the defendant burp and could smell, furthermore, odor of an alcoholic beverage, even more prevalent. The defendant stated he was coming from a local bar where he had consumed 3 Michelob Ultra beers when asked about the smell of alcohol, and the defendant stated that he had been drinking and told the officer, "Take me, I'll take it, that's fine," referring to him being taken to jail. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, HGN 6 out of 6, and walk and turn was not performed as the defendant began arguing with the officer, stating that he was falsely accused last time he did the test. The defendant refused to use an imaginary line and further refused the testing. DIC was read, and the defendant refused. A blood search warrant was signed and executed.
Was this an open to-be? Was he on bond for this case, for the assault, and he pick up a DWI? Had we put conditions on him not to consume? Had we done anything with the assault and then he pick up a DWI?
The assault family member was a 2B for a few months. There was an open warrant for a few months before it was on.
Martinez, let's go through some of your history here. Since 21, DWI, interference, another DWI, and now in 24, another assault and another DWI. I want you to do, and I want you to understand something and hear me clear, Mr. Martinez. I will do everything in my power to protect my county and at all costs. Take note, because I'm putting a whole host of conditions on you now, and if I find that you violate this, I will deem you a public danger, put you in jail, and make your bond so high you will have teeth falling out. Do you understand? You are not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising you're not going to drive. I don't care what is going on in your life. Do not drive. If you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get into a car.
Yes.
Tell me about the assault, please.
Yes, Judge. So for the assault, the complainant and the defendant are in a dating relationship, and on September 28th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to a physical disturbance in Harris County, Texas, where the officer spoke with the complainant and stated that she and the defendant began to argue. The complainant stated she wanted to leave, and while walking out, the defendant struck her with an open hand to her right cheek. The complainant stated she fell to the ground. The complainant then went to her car, saying she was going to call 911. The defendant followed her, asking if she was really calling 911, before then fleeing the scene. The officer observed the complainant's cheek to be red and swollen.
Alcohol a factor? Do you know?
There's no allegations, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I am now ordering you not to drive, and I'm giving you a curfew. I'm giving you a curfew of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. that you're not allowed to go out. On one ankle, I will put a GPS monitor. On your other ankle, I'm going to put a scram monitor so I know that you're not consuming alcohol. You violate any of these conditions, life will not go well for you. Do you understand me?
Yes, sir.
Can you
Busy day in court.
file orders for a guardian interlock? I am also now ordering you not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have a guardian interlock. We are sending notice to DPS now. So if you're caught driving a vehicle and it doesn't have an interlock on it, every officer will know about it, and hopefully they will put you into custody. If not, somehow, my magic ball, I will find it, and I'm going to find you, and it's not going to go well. Do you understand?
Yes.
We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'll first have you swear to us that you're not going to get into a car, sign a reset with Victoria, and then you'll get with Felicia for your bond conditions. Don't pick up a third case.
Yes.
Are you doing them all?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Come back. I forgot.
GPS and Scram, how long would you like for those?
Today.
Today.
With the assault case, I am entering what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection that identifies Ms. Gonzalez as a protected individual. You cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.07 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot go within 200 feet of where she lives, where she works.
She's not fiance now, sir. And now, so now.
Not to have any contact with
Just
her
move.
until I know that she does. So I'm gonna have her, if she's here, we can have her talk to the DAs.
I'm gonna get her here. That's fine.
Just, I don't want you to say anything, Mr. Martinez. You're in enough as it is now. Just don't. Until I know that she wants to have
We live
contact
together
with
now,
you.
so that's why I want to know, do I need to get my stuff today and go?
I'm entering this order for protection today. You cannot go back at this point until I know that they have contact with her. I mean, we have a full house today. Here in a
I
bit,
just don't want to, yeah, I don't want to mess up. That's why I asked. Okay.
in a bit, I can have them reach out to her to see what her position is.
Yes.
But regardless, I want you to understand, no threatening or harassing contact.
No.
What is threatening or harassing doesn't matter what you think, it's what she perceives. So is that threatening, harassing? It is. So be careful. All right, I'll have you sign all the documents and then we'll just have you take a seat in the jury box. THA.
All right, Judge, next is a Spanish arraignment, page 28.
Okay. Is that,
I have one as well.
okay. Okay, come on.
It is Tiburcio Nazario.
Say page 28. Are you? Are you Eduardo Tiburcio Nazario?
Yes.
So you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
Yes, Judge.
All right, just before they start reading probable cause on this case, I have been talking with a friend. That's why I've been a little bit MIA, but still gonna chill. Looks like it's a busy day in court.
Officer was dispatched to meet Houston Fire Department call. Houston Fire Department advised the defendant was observed sitting in a moving lane of traffic in the driver's seat of the vehicle. Houston Fire Department further advised the defendant had open and closed containers of alcohol in a cooler. The defendant admitted to drinking and driving, and a real witness observed the defendant driving.
So he actually has alcohol in the car while he's driving?
Your Honor, it's in a cooler. I don't know where the cooler is at this time. I can look into that in a moment. And the defendant was observed to have slurred speech, red bloodshot eyes, and a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, in addition to swaying side to side. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN, 6 out of 6. Walk and turn, 7 out of 8. One leg stand, 4 out of 4. The DIC was red, and the defendant consented to draft. The results were 0.125, 0.120.
Sir, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
She's not a citizen. He does not have a driver's license.
Okay. Are you in this country with or without permission?
Without permission.
What happens if you go to jail, Mr. Nazario?
I would leave my family
What else?
because I have 4 children. I work.
I want you to understand that immigration sweeps the jail on a daily basis, sir. And if immigration finds you in custody, they're going to put a detainer on you and you will remain in custody until this case is over with and then shipped off to immigration. If you do not want that to happen, do not violate any of the conditions that I set on you now. You do not have a Texas driver license, therefore you are not allowed to drive. I'm making that a condition of your bond, as well as not consuming alcohol or illegal drugs or unprescribed controlled medication. You will be randomly tested. If I find that you're consuming alcohol, if I find so much that you drive, I will put you in jail. And if you are unlucky enough, you're going to be there for an extremely long time. Do you understand?
Yes.
Imagine if you go to jail for 6 to 8 months, who's going to take care of the wife and the kids? Probably someone you don't like. Consider that when you're out there in the free world. You have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with them, and they will tell you when you have to come back to court. If they tell me that they cannot get a hold of you because you're playing games, likewise, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. I'm not asking much. I'm just asking you to follow the law. So I will have you come up here, swear to us you're not going to drive. I'll have you sign the reset with Victoria. You'll get with your bond conditions with Miss Felicia, and then you're free to go.
Thank you, Judge. Maybe excuse.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Have a good week.
Next financial arraignment is page 16. Leon, come on up.
Hey, how many do we have Spanish?
3 in total.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you today? So did you put a second, Your Honor?
Más al frente, contesta voz alta, por favor.
Carlos Leon.
Carlos Leon.
Yes.
So Leon, you're charged with driving while intoxicated, second offense. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The officer conducted a traffic stop in Harris County, Texas, after observing.
We'll talk in the back.
Traffic stop was conducted after officer observed the defendant had an expired registration and was impeding traffic. Upon contact, the officers observed watery, bloodshot eyes, strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, and disorientation. The officer asked to conduct standard field sobriety tests. The defendant initially consented, but then withdrew consent. The DIC was read and breath was consented to. The results were 0.135 and 0.136. Expired registration and he was impeding traffic.
Placas vencidas, estaba impidiendo el tráfico.
Okay, Mr. Leon, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
Estados Unidos.
No. Are you in this country with or without permission?
Without permission.
What happens if you go to jail, Mr. Leon?
I'd have to go to my country.
You're gonna sit in custody for about 8 to 9 months waiting for that to happen. Don't violate these conditions. Otherwise, I'm going to lock you up. If I find that you're a danger to my public, I have only one place for you. I'm ordering you now not to drive any vehicle whatsoever for any reason. I'm putting a restriction that you're not to drive any vehicle that doesn't have a guardian interlock. Since you don't have a license, you're not allowed to drive. You will take a portable handheld device with you everywhere you go to prove to us that you're not consuming alcohol. Likewise, you will go to jail. You drive, then you're looking at another additional up to 6 months in jail every time you drive, Mr. Alone. This life is a short one. It's not fun to spend 6 months in a box. So heed this warning. You will not get another one. You have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with him, and he will tell you when you have to come back to court.
Cuando tiene que regresar a la corte.
I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. I will get you to Victoria, where you will sign a reset. After that, you'll get with Felicia if your bond conditions. Then you are free to go. Counsel, please admonish him accordingly as bond conditions. I don't want to have to lock him up. Okay, all right, good luck to you, Mr. Leon.
Pase con su abogado.
Judge, next is page 12, Gonzalez, Guillermo.
Yeah, so.
Hi, Sylvia.
This one's for.
Got it. And what's the last name?
Page 12, Gonzalez.
This is the one that you approached on a while
Yes, Your
ago,
Honor,
right?
this is,
He's finding out.
that was in ICE custody.
Got it. Good morning, Mr. Gonzalez Pena. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to tell you now that of all the people that get sent to immigration, I can count on one hand those that are able to get out of ICE custody. You are now out. Make the most of it. Because I'm going to tell you, you probably paid quite a bit just to get out. If you violate these conditions, if the immigration judge deems that you're a danger to the public, they're going to yank that bond and you will go back into immigration custody and you're not going to get another one. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I am ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. You will also sign an affidavit that you're not to drive. If you do not have a Texas driver license and liability insurance, then you're not to drive. As long as you can abide by these conditions and you remain in contact with Sylvia, we will all be happy. Our primary concern is public safety. That's all we're concerned about. If you violate that, same thing's gonna happen to you. I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive. I'll get you to Victoria to sign a reset. After that, we'll get to you, Felicia, for your bond conditions, and after that, you guys are free to go. Okay?
Thank you, Honor.
All right, guys, take care. Yes, ma'am.
Happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
All right, Judge, next is. Pen speaker, page 17, Maldonado, come on up.
Are you Gracie Patricia Maldonado Varela?
Yes.
Ma'am, you're charged with assault of a family member. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
On November 18th, 2024, the officer was dispatched to an assault in progress to a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant stated that he had been in a 2-year dating relationship with the defendant, but that he is not married to the defendant. The complainant further stated that they do reside together. The complainant stated that he arrived at the apartment complex to drop off his brother, then met with a witness who arrived, who parked her vehicle next to his at the apartment complex. The complainant got into the passenger side of the witness's vehicle as the witness sat in the driver's side, and he observed the defendant in their white Chevrolet pickup approaching the parking lot. The complainant got out of the witness's vehicle after observing the defendant's facial expressions. The defendant blocked the witness's vehicle with her white pickup, then stepped out of her vehicle. The defendant approached the complainant and open hand slapped the left side of his face, causing him to feel pain. The defendant then grabbed a hold of the front collar of the complainant's black t-shirt and used force to pull it forward, causing her to rip it as it rubbed on the left and right side of his neck.
Tenía una marca rojiza al lado izquierdo de su cuello.
The defendant then struck the complainant's chest with a closed fist. The complainant stated that he did not feel pain when his chest was struck. And the complainant stated that the defendant's behavior hurt him more.
Que el comportamiento de ella le dolió más.
That's it? Okay. Do you have the rip done? Do we know what he wants?
The rip has not been done, Your Honor. And I could reach out to Conrad, see if he can complete it.
Okay. Ms. Maldonado, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
No.
No.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
No, sin permiso.
Sí, tengo caso con migración, pero
Yes, I have an immigration case, but
no,
Yes or no?
sí o no?
no.
No.
If you go to jail
Si usted va a la
and
cárcel,
immigration finds you in the jail, they will put a detainer on you and you will sit in custody until this case is done. And then you will be shipped off to immigration without the ability to get out.
en la habilidad de poder salir,
That is what you have waiting for you if you end up back in custody.
esa.
I'm putting conditions on your bond now, ma'am, and if I find that you violate these conditions, if I find that you're a danger to my public, then I'm going to put you in custody. And if you're unlucky enough, you're going to be there for a very long time until
Tiempo.
who knows when.
Habrá Dios
Do
cuando
you understand?
lo entiende. Sí.
You are not to have contact with this person.
Exacto, con esta-
I'm ordering you not to have any kind of contact with him and not to be in possession of any weapons. A protective order has been issued in this case. You need to get to know it because if you violate the protective order, the state will file additional cases and additional charges against you.
casos.
And then it really goes bad extremely quick. How old are you, ma'am?
¿Qué edad tiene usted, señora?
28 años,
28 years old.
What do you do for a living, ma'am?
ama de casa.
I'm a housewife.
Do you have any kind of income?
¿Tiene algún tipo de ingreso?
No,
No.
Do you have children?
¿Y tiene hijos? Sí, yes.
How many children do you have?
¿Tú tienes? Two. Tengo 4, pero 2 en Honduras y 2 aquí. I have 4, but 2 are in Honduras and 2 are here.
Menores de 4 años.
And 2 are under 4 years old, right here.
Okay, did you want to apply for an appointed lawyer, ma'am?
Quería entonces aplicar para un abogado de planta, señora.
Sí, uno de oficio.
Yes.
All right, let me see. I have one already, actually. So I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria, and then we will have you take a seat in the jury box.
Yeah.
Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions, and ma'am, heed this warning. You will not get another one. Don't become a danger to my public,
Público.
Okay.
okay? Come on. No. I've been able to reach the CW, so it stays. No, I'm telling her that she can't. Leave, she cannot have contact.
All right. Well, I can see that one becoming a messy case because something tells me she won't listen. Something tells me she's not going to have no contact with that guy. Something tells me she's going to not listen to anything. And she's going to have to be picked up by immigration in jail. Unfortunately, that's what it says.
All right, Judge, page 29, Torres, come on up.
And your honor,
Oh, I see it now.
no contact, no weapons, Maldonado.
They X'd out the no contact portion in the Spanish part. I'm sorry, in the order for protection. I need a new one, please. Yeah. Can we follow? You need a new one? You can do it? So don't worry about it. We can reuse this one. Okay. Apellido, por favor.
Torres Guardado.
Page 29.
Thanks. Okay, Mr. Torres, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. It's elevated to a Class A misdemeanor because of the high blow. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
The officer observed the defendant run a red light and a traffic stop was conducted. The officer observed signs of intoxication, namely a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage and red watery eyes. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 8 out of 8, 1 leg stand 4 out of 4. The DIC was red and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.190 and 0.199.
Can you run his NCIC to see if he has any priority to the eyes, please?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, he does.
Mr. Torres, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Tell me, are you a United States citizen?
No.
Are you in this country with or without permission?
País con o sin permiso. Without permission.
You go to jail and immigration finds you, they're going to put an immigration detainer on you and you will remain in custody until these proceedings are over with, and then you will be shipped off to immigration without the ability to bond out. If you do not want that to happen, do not violate these conditions. You do not have a Texas driver license, therefore you are not allowed to drive. Do you understand? Mr. Torres, I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is. If Mother Teresa needs a ride to church, I don't care. If I find that you drive, I can have a contempt hearing and you can be facing up to 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. I am also ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and you will be randomly tested. If I find that you're consuming alcohol and I don't care where from, likewise, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have been given one warning before. This is your second case here now. You're not going to get any more warnings. Do you understand?
Yes.
Did you want to add something? Okay. We are going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive any vehicles. I will have you sign a reset. And then after that, you'll get with Felicia for your bond conditions. And then after that, you're free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer.
Next Spanish arraignment.
Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay.
25,
Breathe
You
easy,
said-
bud.
Ramirez.
Caramba la bamba.
It was 3 with attorney. 2 without.
So let's, how many more do we have?
That's really the.
Ramirez?
Okay.
Blimey, Spanish Day today. It's Day el Español. Yeah, I think I fucked that one up. But it's Espanol Day. Far out. The amount of Spanish speaking defendants in the courtroom today. The cops must be, instead of lumping everyone together at the nearest possible one, must be sorting it out into this day's Spanish speakers, this day's English speakers, this day's traffic, this day's booze, this day's. Yeah, it's like. That's what it feels like, but man.
What page? Good morning, Ms. Ramirez.
Hi, good morning.
Ms. Ramirez, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. Going to do probable cause, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. The officer was dispatched to a driving while intoxicated. As the officer observed, the defendant failed to maintain a single lane, drive 20 miles per hour in a 45-mile-per-hour zone. Traffic stop was conducted. The officer observed signs of intoxication, namely strong odor of an alcoholic beverage emitting from the vehicle, and the defendant gave inconsistent answers as to how many drinks she had prior to driving. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 4 out of 6, walk and turn 4 out of 8, and one leg stand 2 out of 4. The DIC was read and the defendant consented to breath. The results were 0.08 and 0.08.
So you said all she had was an odor of alcohol? Or
Yes, Your Honor, there was a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage from the vehicle and on her person. And then she gave inconsistent answers. She did state she had consumed drinks prior to driving, just inconsistent as to how many. And the officer also observed a failure to maintain a single lane, as well as her driving below the speed limit, 20 miles below the speed limit.
Ms. Ramirez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have are you a citizen of the United States, ma'am?
No, sir.
Are you in this country with or without permission, ma'am?
I had it, but not no more.
You know what happens if you go to jail? What happens?
Will take immigration then.
I'm sorry?
The immigration will take me to Mexico.
Right. Do you have any clue how long you will sit in jail waiting for that to happen?
No, sir.
You're so behind, you will probably sit in custody for about 9 months, perhaps more, waiting for any of that to happen. And if you want to bond out from an immigration jail, 15 grand, 20 grand, just don't violate these conditions. You don't have a license, do you?
No, I don't.
You're not allowed to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive.
I had my driver's license before. I had it.
She had a driver's license, Your Honor, just she couldn't.
It's
renew it.
gone. Correct. You don't have one now. Just because you had one 5 years ago, 2 years ago, if you don't have one now, you can't drive. Doesn't matter. If you show me that you have a valid Texas driver license, will happily let you drive. But until you do, you can't drive. Can you run her license, Alex, please?
Yes,
Do you mind?
Yeah, can you also check the insurance?
I'm
And
showing that it says eligible on our end.
Do you have a license?
License, driver
A
license.
Texas driver license.
I had it, not at this moment. Well, it's not valid, but I had it before.
It expired, Your Honor. It wasn't taken away from her for any violation or anything. She
No.
just couldn't renew it.
Right.
No, they're showing it's valid. But I don't know. I wouldn't get into a car unless you 100% know that you do. And I would probably call DPS to find out, okay? Because if you go out there and you start driving and you get pulled over, officers will see that you're charged with DWI. It could be a recipe for disaster.
It
So
will be.
you have to know 100% before you do or not. I'll give you the number to the driver license division where to call, but that's what I would do. So I'm going to order you not to drive unless you have a valid license and insurance, though. You must also have insurance as well before you start driving.
I always have it with me.
And Judge, just to confirm what counsel said, on the driver's license I have, it says the expiration date is November 22nd, 2009. So it does appear it's just expired, but it's not due to any suspension or anything like that.
So it's expired.
It's expired. So
Okay, yeah, then you can't drive. Here, for what it's worth, I will give you this number. You can call them. Perhaps they can tell you how to get it back if you can. If you show me that you have it and you can get it, I'll take this off, okay? But don't drink. I am ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm gonna randomly test you. Do you understand? Alex? Any priority to be honest?
No priors, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, Ms. Ramirez, you have a lawyer. Good job having a lawyer. I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with him and he'll tell you when you have to come back to court.
Okay.
If he tells me he can't get a hold of you because you're not responding to his phone calls, I will issue a warrant. So just don't drink, don't use drugs, and don't drive until you have a license, and then we're all happy. Okay? Okay, please. We'll have you sign this, sign that, and that, and then you guys are good.
Alright, Judge, next, we're to page 7, Daniel.
Thank you. You are Dante Daniels.
Sir.
Mr. Daniels is charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The officer was dispatched to a single vehicle crash in Harris County, Texas. Upon arrival, the officer only saw record drivers on scene and asked where the driver of the vehicle was. A witness, a record driver, pointed out the defendant, and the officer observed the defendant walking away from the scene of the accident. The officer asked how the crash occurred, and the defendant stated he was driving and did not realize the street was a dead end. The defendant also had the car key fob in his pocket, and while speaking to the defendant, the officer noticed an odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted to drinking at a nearby bar, and Centerfield sobriety tests were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, one leg stand 2 out of 4. The DIC was read and breath was consented to. The results were 0.123 and 0.125.
Mr. Daniels, I'm going to find that there's probable cause for the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license, sir?
Yes, sir.
License. Do you have valid liability insurance in your name? Then you're not allowed to drive. I'm making that a condition of your bond until you have, at the very minimum, liability insurance. If you can get it and you show me that you have it, I'll take this restriction off. As it stands, I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You will be randomly tested. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or any kind of illegal drugs, you will go to jail. You will not get any more PR bonds. You are on a very serious felony probation. Once they learn about this, it's just a matter of a while before they file a felony warrant, and then you're really going to be deep, you know what? Did you see? He's on the bird.
Yes, Judge, I've already notified the felony prosecutor.
I'm gonna have you come up here, swear to us that you're not gonna drive until you have insurance and court approval. I'm gonna go to Victoria where we will have you sign a reset. You need a lawyer. and you need to get one lickety split because I'm telling you, it's just a moments before they file a felony warrant on you, man. After that, you'll get with Felicia for your bond conditions, and then after that, you're free to go. All right.
All right, Judge, next is page 21, Napoleon, come on up.
Hey, Pushy.
What page?
21.
Thanks.
Yeah, Livy's working her butt off. I've been
Mr.
reasonably
Napoleon, do you have a
busy
lawyer today?
with
Take a
shifts.
seat for me in the jury box,
So,
man. Can you appoint her someone, please, today?
yeah. We've both been busy. I've just found some time to relax. So thought what's better than watching some American court system and laughing at some American idiots? Because most of the people who go through the court system, let's face it, they're idiots for what they did.
That's it, Judge.
Oh, okay.
Counsel for reset.
All right, looks like we're into THAs. We've done the arraignments.
Hi, Lori.
Yes, Dominic.
You look great.
Thank you, Judge. This is Ariel Strong. She's starting new in the PDO's office this week. And she's going to be training in this court.
Right?
Nice to meet
Great
you.
hands. Great
We
hands.
are approaching on Lawrence Curry. We need a bond set. He was in custody on delivery and they filed on him from assault family member that happened back in March.
Hey, man. You talk again. Si hablas de nuevo, te pongo en la cárcel.
Yes, Judge knows
What do you want?
Spanish.
A bond set,
Yeah, but-
like it's set at 1,000. All right, thank you, Judge.
Do you have any, is he gonna bond out? Do you
I
know?
don't think so. He's been in bond in custody on the felony for a while. Yeah.
I'm showing he's at no bond. So he's on that one, he's been in custody for a long time? Really? Okay. Let me see if they found probable cause. Actually, okay, they found PC, but we need him to sign the protective order, so that's it. So if you don't mind, we'll just have it brought out.
All right, I'll go over with it.
Please.
Counsel for reset.
Yeah, he's known to speak Spanish when he gets upset with someone, especially if they're a Spanish-speaking person. That way, hopefully the message gets through. I think that's the rough interpretation of what he said.
Hey.
All right, this is used to line enough for me to get the gist of it, which is basically
because she said he's been in custody for a while, but
get your ass, just get your ass out somewhere where my deputies can watch you.
On the delivery case?
It's a little bit of a slow start to the day for him. Ah, yes. It's quite warm over here at the moment. It's like 23 Celsius, high of 26 Celsius, and it's been that way most of the day. So nice bit of wind out here. Oh.
Mr. D.
Got a pretty fuzzy judge, Mr. Gavin Miller is on his way out. Raphael Gavin Miller.
Nazario?
What are we doing, Mr. D?
We're gonna plead to time served on the DWI. The state is gonna dismiss the UCW and the failure to ID. He currently just picked up another felony.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. This guy's going to be in this shit. Yeah. Picked up another felony. I'm one for one already. He's picked up another one.
Come on up.
My last name's Steve. Oh, my bad. My last name.
Yes, sir. Gavin Miller. Raphael Gavin. His last name is Jarman. Non-citizen judge. Non-citizen.
You did the immigration?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Jaramillo. So you're charged with 3 cases here with us. You're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're charged with a gun case and failure to ID as a fugitive from justice. On the DWI, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. On your other cases, you're facing up to a year and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you
100 days with 46 days credit.
100 days with 46 days credit on the DWI. As part of the plea bargain agreement, they're going to dismiss the other 2 cases. As far as the weapon, it will be forfeited, so you're not going to get it back. It will now become a manhole cover. Do you understand? You give up a lot of rights by entering in this agreement. You give up the right to
talking during the plea, please.
you give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen or a possible immigration consequence, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So once you plead guilty, you can never change this or undo this. You need to understand that the DWI will go on your record. It will be there forever. So if you were ever pulled over in a car, right, an officer will see your priors. If you smell like alcohol or dope, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I understand.
So don't get into a car if you've had anything. You're begging for trouble.
Trust me, I won't.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
no problem.
How do you plead to the offense? Guilty or not guilty? I'll find you guilty, send you to it. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days, sir. Do not drive until you get a license. And good luck to you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, CC everything.
No.
Oh my word. What a mess. That guy was the right mess. It won't be the last time we see him either. Guarantee you. I'll bet if it's not him jumping in a motor car and driving, when he's not meant to be, it's him getting in a fight or something else that'll bring him back. For sure. I'm gonna do another hour of this. By then, most of the cases should be over. But we'll wait and see. If he pushes someone to the very end, well, we may have to wait around and see what happens to them.
Colin, we're expecting Joseph today, right?
Yes, Judge. He's in the way.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure that it's. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge. My name is Noah Feldman. I just started at the PBO. So
Welcome. Yeah, happy to have you.
I'm here on trying to get a bond reduction or a personal bond for a client.
Who is it?
It's Moises Perez.
Perez.
Correct.
So I'm showing his bond is $1,000.
That's correct, yeah.
It's from September.
When he came into custody, he had a theft. That theft has since been dismissed.
3 years.
Oh, so, okay, so I see. What happened was he was on bond for the theft, and then he picked up the DWI. So that's why they didn't, I guess, presumptively give him a PR bond, because normally when someone gets arrested, they all get a PR bond or a GOB or whatnot, right? So is that what happened?
Yes. Well, I'm actually not positive why he wasn't given a.
Let's find out. Do you mind asking him to bring him out?
Better.
Mrs. Perez. So just bear with me a second. Let me find out while we're waiting. Colin, you want to talk? Let's talk. Joseph,
Good morning, Judge.
how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Good to see you, man.
Good. You
So
too.
what's up?
I think we're there. I've got findings of fact and conclusions of law for you. I brought a hard copy.
Have you seen it, Joseph?
Yes, Judge. I reviewed what he's presenting to you, and I have no objection.
Okay, I'll sign it. Sure, okay.
Right.
For sure. Thanks for
Take care.
agreeing. It makes it a lot easier, you know? Okay, so whatever you guys want, I'll just sign it. That's it.
Right. Maybe excused.
Thank you so much. Of
Thanks,
course.
Joseph. Have a happy Thanksgiving, bud.
Thanks, Colin.
You too.
Bingo.
So this is it, right? Okay.
Bingo. That was the best court cases ever done.
You know what? For? I mean, it makes it so much easier when you agree, you know? Really. That's what, well, it's because he's great, you know? Right. Yeah. Hey. Hi.
On Clayton Hodges, he's on docket today. At his arraignment setting, he got some bond conditions that I was today.
Hodges?
Hodges,
I
yes,
see.
sir. So he's allowed to drive, and he has a GPS ankle monitor with curfew. He does have some pending charges in Galveston, so I'm assuming that's why.
Let me, yeah, they brought him out. All right. Do you need a translator?
Well, I will say, I don't think so, Judge. I just confirmed with him. He picked up both offenses at the same time.
You speak English? Okay, we need a translator. So I guess I didn't realize, yeah, just, sorry. As soon as we get one, we'll Okay. Come on.
So, yes, so at his arraignment setting, he got some bond conditions. He's not able to drive, and then he has a GPS monitor with curfew. I was hoping that we could amend that today.
You want?
To take the GPS ankle monitor curfew off, and the no driving condition. He's an electrician. He works, he's with the curfew, he's not able to go to work, outside of those hours. And sometimes he has to work overnight or.
Is he here?
Yes, he is.
Hey, do you mind bringing him up?
Yes.
Judge, we have the interpreter.
Okay, well, I've got him coming up, or I guess.
Okay.
Mr. Hodges, just take a seat for me right there, but don't go far. We'll hit you up next.
Man,
So the last name was Perez, right? Good morning, Mr. Perez.
Good morning.
How's jail?
No. Not real good.
You know, the only thing that we want is we want our public safe. We want our streets to be safe. We want our citizens to be safe. And when you become a public danger, we have only one place for you. And the problem that I have here, Mr. Perez, is since 22, you have picked up an assault of a family member. You've picked up a second assault of a family member, so that was a felony. You picked up a felony theft in, I guess, August of this year. And now, a month later, you pick up a DWI. So in the short span of about a year and a half, you picked up 4 different cases, 2 of those being felonies.
Oh my God.
You are now sitting in custody. Your bond is set at $1,000, where literally it would only take $150 for someone to pony up to get you out. And you have no one to pay that money.
$150 not
Judge, if I may.
much.
Please.
Yes, Your Honor. So, Mr. Perez, he's been living in the United States since 2009. He's been living in Houston, Texas since 2018. He's got a 6-year-old daughter here in the US. He was living with his daughter and his wife. His wife has also been living in Houston since 2018. He works in construction. He earns $1,000 every 15 days. He works for a contractor named Carlos Mendoza. He's been working for him for 3 years. I talked to the state about an offer in this case. The state was requesting a reset because they're waiting on BWC, they're waiting on a RIB and station video.
Everything.
Pretty much everything. And I mean, the one thing I would say is that he does have support on the outside. There was some issues about whether he had a hold or not. We have confirmed with the clerk that he does not have a hold.
Solid. So the hold was lifted. Huh? Do you see that as well?
His wife had gone to a bonds company who basically said this is too risky to do. And that's why we wanted to go with the personal bond. But he does have support on the outside.
Are you a citizen of the United States, Mr. Perez? I'm Do you?
I spoke with the clerk earlier who said there was a hold from
I
June.
show it was lifted 6/16/23. Oh, 23.
Yes, sir. I see an ice hold currently on our end as well. Placed on September 15th.
I was looking at it. This must have been for the prior cases that the hold was lifted. But
Oops. This isn't good.
Counsel.
If the judge has to go do homework, this isn't good.
Don't be shy. I'm new here. It's okay. Take it. I mean, she'll show you here that's. We were looking at a prior case, and in the prior case, the hold was lifted. You have to understand, Mr. Perez, if you want to be in this country and you're not here with permission, you have to have a halo over your head. And when you continue to pick up criminal cases, this is what happens. You now have an immigration detainer, you're unable to get out. And as soon as we're done with this case, they will ship you off to immigration. I was seriously considering on giving you a PR bond. I was going to give you a ton of conditions, but at this point, there's nothing that we can do
Judge, if I may,
to.
just, I spoke to Mr. Perez, and even if there was a, because I told him there's a possibility of a hold, I saw it on the system. If there is a hold, that still doesn't disqualify from a personal
I
bond.
know, but I don't want him to get shipped off to immigration and then deported. And I see it happen all too often, and that I think that in and of itself, that if it were to happen, it would harm him even more.
Yes, Your Honor, but if I may, I mean, just speaking for, so I was an immigration lawyer. I just started criminal defense, so I'm brand new to this world. But I will tell you that even if we wait the 30 days, even if this case is eventually dismissed, best case scenario, he's still going to ICE custody. That hold is not gonna get lifted.
And we can't resolve this case. If he gets deported, he's gonna have an open warrant. And even if he tries to, like, if he were to dispose of this case, however he can now, right, and he gets back to his home country, at that point, he can petition or apply to get back here. If he ends up getting deported and we have to issue a warrant for his arrest, he'll never even try to come back in because he'll have that open warrant, and he'll never, ever be able to resolve it. You know, so
Also qualify for an immigration bond if he goes to custody. So this would be one step out of two required to get him out of custody. I mean,
do this, speak with the family, see if they have the wherewithal to be able to post an immigration bond. Okay, if they do, then I'll give you the PR bond. But I'm telling you, he's going to be shipped off right to immigration. And in my opinion, I think that would end up hurting him more so, because when he gets shipped off, I issue a warrant, and that warrant's going to be out there for the rest of his life. He'll never come back. And he'll be unable to.
and then what would be the basis, just out of ignorance, what would be the basis for the warrant?
Because he's gone and we can't get him back.
So it'd be like a revocation of bond? That's not his fault, his fault.
If you want to be in this country, behave yourself, because there's serious consequences. I don't want to give you a PR bond now, because if I do, it's very possible they ship you off to immigration. If that happens, I'm going to end up issuing a warrant for your arrest. I can't leave them on bond for the next 5 years. You know, it's nonsensical. I can't do that. So speak with them, see if they have the ability to post an immigration bond. Let them know it's going to be, you know, $7,000-$10,000, and they'll have to pony it all up. If they can, then we can revisit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I was just waiting for that to finish. Because that was actually really interesting. Immigration lawyer turned criminal defense lawyer. Oh, Lord. He's the kind of guy you want on your side if you're ever going to face deportation. All right. Have a good sleep, Fish. Catch you around a bit later.
Come up, sir.
Now this is the interjecting case that they tried to start several times. Well, they were.
Good morning, Mr. Hodges.
Getting other guy.
Could you run an NCIC on him, please? What all does he have open elsewhere?
Yes, just I'll run it right now.
And then if you can refresh my memory with regard to our case as well, please.
Yes. Regard to COVID cases, it appears in Galveston, he has an open UCW, DWI, and a collision involving damage to a vehicle equal to $200.
Bingo.
So it's an FSGI, DWI, and a UCW.
Yes, Judge. And then in regard to this case, the officer responded to a criminal mischief and made contact with the complainant, where the complainant stated he woke up and realized his tree had been ran into. He checked the surveillance and observed the defendant's motor vehicle colliding into the tree, traveling at a high rate of speed. and observed the defendant appearing to get out of the motor vehicle, walk in front of the vehicle, then get back in. And the officer later observed tire marks, damage on the landscape leading up to the tree, damage to the bricks around the tree, as well as damage to the tree itself, leading to damage approximately $200 for the grass and bricks and $2,500 for the tree.
And this is like, it's in the middle of the night, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. What would you like?
Judge, I'm asking the driving condition and the curfew. I get it, it sounds bad, but Judge, he's unable to work. He's an electrician. He works throughout the night sometimes.
Oh, I'm not, I don't want you out in the middle of the night, Mr. Hodges. You have 4 open cases and you're out. You already were given 1 chance when you got on bond for those 3 cases out in Galveston. Now you've picked up another case in the middle of the night.
Are we able to lift the no driving restriction then, you know, and maybe do 5 to 10 p.m.? It's just the 6 to 6 kind of interfere with his work schedule, like I said, but I understand completely not wanting to drive at night.
What's the curfew now?
I think it's 6 to 6.
It's 9 p.m.
Oh.
No, I don't do that bad. It's 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. What do you want, Mr. Hodges? I'm not giving you in the middle of the night. I'm telling you now, you have 4 open cases. 2, this is a potential DWI. So it's really a DWI and a second DWI. And you want me to let you out in the middle of the night?
Can we just lift the no driving restriction, Judge? Because it's daytime from.
Can you run his license?
Yes, Judge.
It's not eligible, but he has an ODO.
Yes, Judge, I'm saying not eligible.
He has an ODO license, Judge.
Did he have an interlock in his car at the time when he got here?
I don't believe so.
Then I'm not gonna do it because he's supposed to have an occupational always needs an interlock.
It may have.
You're
Judge.
you're violating your,
But did you have an?
you're supposed to have an interlock as part of the occupational license. You're in violation of your occupational license, you know?
It may not have required that, Judge. Because I'm not on the Galveston case. But
Show me, do you have a copy of the occupational license?
I can't get you.
Show it to me. Let me take a look at it and then we'll see.
Hello.
Mr. Hodges, just take a seat
Hello.
for me momentarily. When you find it, come back up and let me know. Thank you.
I have Miguel Mendoza, and he was supposed to take a drug test this morning. He contacted me and he's going to make it today. He's going to see if he can show it. Take it. The last time he tested was on Thursday last week.
Okay. All right. I will roll to tomorrow for you. So SF.
Also have Isaac Petway on docket.
Okay.
Judge, he has a felony, well, several felonies. I was going to see if we can get this set past the felony date. It looks, I mean, he's going to be going to trial on the felony cases. If we do need to set up for trial here, then we can work something out with the state. I just wanted to see if we can get one more reset.
I mean, he picked up the murder.
The murder was before, it was for these cases.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What does it say?
It said on the December 12th.
Yeah, for sure. Of course. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Thanks you. Hi.
Ron, I'm here for Leonardo Gomez Velasquez. His appearance was required today. However, he is still in ICE custody, Judge.
Okay, that's all right. It's not a big deal. You have proof?
Man.
Yeah, of course. So are you trying to bond him out? Is that what it is?
Yes, I'm not his immigration attorney, but someone from our firm is.
What, the day after?
If we could,
Of
yes,
course.
Judge. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So here it says, what, December 18th?
I need to check and see what date that is.
So that's a Wednesday.
So if we could set up a Thursday.
You want to do that?
Yes, sir.
Totally. Of course. Thank you. Mr. Epimenio.
Yes, Judge.
Once he's out, he must immediately come here though for conditions. Okay? All right. Hi, Julie. Good morning. Of course.
This matter is set for a jury trial the Monday after the holiday, and we have worked it out today. I will give you a case number.
It's 2496080.
2496.
080.
And he has entered into a PTI agreement and signed it today. His requirements are to take a gun safety course and to forfeit his weapon.
Okay, so his case is old. So 2 weeks?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you
If he
so much.
doesn't have it done, he's got to be here. Okay, so you want to take it off the trial document?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
Please do, Your Honor.
Did you hear that, Ramona? Or I'll take care of it. We got you.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Yes, Judge, I did hear it. What day does she want to reset it? 2 weeks, you said?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay, I got it.
What day do you?
I have it.
No, but we need to pick a date with Julie.
Okay, what about the 9th?
Sure, perfect. Thank you so much.
So it
Okay,
must
no
appear if
problem.
it's
Thank
not
you.
done.
Judge, I will see you on the 9th. Do I need to sign anything formally? Okay, all right.
No,
We know
ma'am.
where to find you. Did you, hey, wait, so did you tell her what gun safety? Is there a particular one?
No, Judge.
No?
But
Okay,
it was Mike's offer, so I think they spoke about it.
got it. Okay, just making sure.
Gonzalez Pina?
No, it's gonna be with. Okay, give me a second, Eric, and then I'm gonna talk. You're up next.
Oh, man. It doesn't take that long.
The granting of the occupational driver's license, the reason it didn't require interlock is because he had it prior to this. He got it for tickets that were unpaid because he didn't have insurance. He has current active insurance. I have the ODL right here.
Who gave it to him? Is it a JP court?
Yes.
Can imagine knowing that he has that open DWI in Galveston and knowing that he has now picked this case up here where it has an alcohol. I can imagine that they're gonna let, you know.
Right now it is still active. So are we?
I don't know how comfortable I feel with him driving. Are you mom? Come on up, mom. Come up, Mr. Hodges. Thank you so much for coming. How's it been not driving? Blows, right? Good. Wonderful. Because I want you to understand, it is a privilege. It's not a right. And we do everything in our power here to ensure that we don't kill anyone on the road. Watch the news. Every day, someone dies on our roads because of an alcohol-related collision. It's disgusting. And you're familiar with everything that he has open.
Yes, I also am familiar that one of my husbands was killed on the road by someone that was drinking as well.
It's disgusting. It's so sad, you know? And I took his privilege to drive away because of what's going on with Galveston. And now here we have the same situation here. They didn't charge him with DWI here, but very well could have been. And so the idea is to get you to appreciate it, to really feel the pang of not being able to drive, because I want you to realize it is an absolute privilege, and it is a great privilege. And to live in a city this big without the ability to drive really, really blows. That's just it. And I don't know if you really appreciate it. You coming up here and just telling me, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm hurt. That's not enough. I need to know that you really do appreciate the fact of how big and powerfully awesome it is to drive. I'm not ready yet to let you drive. I need to see some kind of proactivity showing me that you really appreciate being able to drive. But as it stands now, it's been 30 days since he's had this case here open. He's got the 4 cases over there. And I can tell you now, the judge that granted that license, if that judge now knows all these cases are open, I would bet my pinky toe that that judge would revoke that license now. Because I don't think any judge wants their name on a license with that kind of baggage to it. So I'm sorry. If you need more time at night, I'm happy to give you a little bit more time past 9 o'clock.
It's not so much, excuse me, it's not so much the night, it's where he works being an electrician. He has to be there earlier in the morning, so.
Okay, I'm happy to work with you. You want 5 in the morning? What time do you want?
5 would be better.
Okay, done. I'll give it to you. Show me that you appreciate the fact of driving.
How do I do that?
Use your imagination. Be creative. Ingenuity goes a long way, Mr. Hodges, but you coming up here and tell me, oh, I'm so sorry, does nothing for me. Actions speak louder than words, and it's only been a mere 30 days since you picked up this case, and not to mention all those other cases that you have in Galveston County. So you are traveling far and wide, and the danger to the public is far and wide as well. I don't want anyone to die under my book, and I don't want anything under my name with that kind of, I don't want that kind of baggage in my life. I have hard enough time sleeping as it is. Show me, and then we can talk again. But I really want you to appreciate it, and I don't think you do so far. Okay, thanks. All right. So Felicia, if you can just from 6 to 5, please. Thanks. Hi.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
I'm approaching on Noah Biza.
Okay.
This is set for bail review today. It was also set on Friday and it got rolled to today.
She's here.
She is here. Her bond was revoked and raised last week due to her picking up a criminal trespass. So she does have 2 ankle monitors on right now, and we would just be requesting that one of those come off. Obviously, she knows that she's not supposed to be within 200 feet of Stereo Live, which is the bar that she was trespassing at.
What I don't want is I don't want her out in the middle of the night. And that's why we have that on. And I'm paying for everything, so nothing is going to come out of her pocket. Come up, Ms. Bison. She had the open DWI, just doing whatever she wants to do. And now she picks up another case out in the middle of the night. Nothing good happens at 2 in the morning. And I don't want you out in the middle of the night. And the only way that I can enforce that is with the ankle monitor. Because if I take that off, you can run amok and I have no idea what you're doing, where you're going, and what's going on. I'm like I said, I'm paying for it, so it's nothing out of her pocket. Either things. I take cost off of everyone so that it's never an issue. I know that it's, and I'm sorry that it's uncomfortable. Well, I'm not really sorry, but you know, actions have consequences. You now see, and I'm going to tell you, you violate conditions again. Get ready for that bond. It's going to sprout legs. It's going to be, you understand? Show me after a while that we can trust you and perhaps we can talk. But you're just now getting out of jail after violating conditions over and over. Thanks.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you're now out of jail. You have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with them, and they will tell you when you have to come back to court. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games, you're ducking and dodging, you pick up a 3rd case, violate conditions again, there goes the bonds. Do you understand? Okay, stay in touch with them and they'll tell you when you have to come back to court. So I'm going to waive the appearance so that she's whatever you guys need.
Thank you. And she did just complete IOP, and then she is planning to enroll in SOP prior to potentially entering into any other program that court might have available. So,
yeah.
IOP is intensive outpatient program. SOP is standard outpatient program. So, and usually they're done Well, not simultaneously. Usually they're done consecutively.
It's up to you guys, whatever, I'm just here. I just want to make sure that she's not out and about and continuing to party. According to her, she wants to go to school for this, she wants to go to school that, if you really. How old are you, ma'am? You have something that I can't buy. I have money, right? I've got a ton of money here, there. Steven's got a lot of money. But you got something that I can't buy. You got something Bill Gates can't buy. You got something that Jeff Bezos can't buy. Do you know what that is?
Time.
No. Age. And the reason is, all those guys would pay an arm and a leg to be able to take back time to have age. But what matters is what you do with the age that you have. If you do nothing, it's a complete waste. If you're going to school, and if you really care about the future, then you're going about it all wrong by continuing to pick up cases, partying, going to a bar and refusing to leave the bar because I've got to wait for my drink. This life is a journey. It can be a great journey, or it can be a rotten, miserable journey. And as a young woman, you should never, ever have to realize or depend on a man. You should be getting your education. You should be getting degrees. You should be getting knowledge so that you never have to rely on a man. Men suck. Men are dogs. And you need to be able to rely on yourself, because if a guy says that they're going to take care of you, great. But one day they may never be there. One day they may take flight. And if you don't have an education, if you don't have a career, if you don't have knowledge, you'll be destitute, penniless, always dependent on a man. Don't. Become a strong woman with knowledge, because then that life becomes a great life. Because this life is only about one thing. This, the almighty dollar. And if you don't have this, you ain't got shit. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So get your knowledge. Stop picking up cases. Once that age is gone, don't come back. Thanks.
Damn it. Judge tuned guidance counselor.
Your Honor, my client does have class from 5 to 9, 6 to 9, my apologies. And I know she has a curfew right now that is imposed. Would the court be amenable towards pushing that?
Absolutely. Show me proof that you're in college or that you're in class and that the class goes at that time. I'll happily give you time to go home. Of course. Yeah. But I'm not going to take your word for it. Show me that you're actually enrolled. You got like either a syllabus or whatnot. And then I'll, of course, am always amenable to working around a schedule for school. Of course. Just show me and then we'll do it. Please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Of course.
May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Damn.
Counsel. Hey, Eric, I'll hit you up next.
I was just checking in on Brittany DeFrawley.
Okay.
I didn't know if we needed to appear for that or not.
No, I don't think that we're not doing anything. We got up 3 weeks. Oh, okay, that's it.
So, all right.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
I think she just needs to test. That's it.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thanks. Eric, you ready? This is on Gracia.
Ready, Judge.
Come up, Mr. Gracia.
Gracias.
Oh, he no home.
Might have gone outside. Let me text him.
All right.
Cecilia?
You guys filed conditions on Fuentes, but it doesn't have any of the complaining witness information.
I'll get the file that, I believe Conrad filed that.
Yeah.
What on the court?
Okay, so we have Mr. Gracia here who has an assault from April, now picked up a violation of a bond conditions by having the alleged weapon. Eric,
Yeah, Judge, so we were in front of you on Friday. You revoked his bond. He posted a new bond. They gave him a court date of today.
Right.
I did send you an email this morning of the document that you requested regarding the address of his business. So you should have it now. We're hoping to modify the bond condition so he can return to his business. This case that he was filed, there's no complaining on there. It's just because the incident happened at his place of business, the magistrate put a restriction that he couldn't return to that location.
okay, state of Texas. It's Conrad's case, but I don't know where Conrad is, and I don't know if you have.
Can we try to get them down here?
Sure.
Just
Of course.
He was unopposed on Friday when we were here. We were just trying to get the a document with the actual address.
Do you want to maybe just
Purchased
email
it,
him
it
so
said
you
it
don't have
was
to come all the way down, just to see, hey, are you unopposed to him going back to the business? And then, Gracia. Okay, Mr. Gracia, just do me a favor. Take a seat over there.
Sure.
Don't go. Where were we with the assault, Eric?
So I didn't represent him on that, but from what I've seen, he's on
Oh, that's right.
PTI.
You guys were in a BIP class, right?
Yeah, he just has a few BIP classes left for a dismissal, but I'm not sure what they're gonna do at this point with the new law violation.
Is that Conrad's case as well?
It is.
Yeah, hey, Morgan. Or Roger, can you, when you email him about that, where are we with the assault case? He was like 3/4 through with the 18-week BIP class. It was 18-week, right, Eric?
Correct.
He was a good way through. Is he okay with staying with it or no? Okay, thanks. You ready?
Sort of.
Miss, yeah. Chisholm's in. Hi, Miss Oko.
Good morning, Judge.
Who did you guys want to talk about?
Yes, Judge. First we can do Mr. Fisher. He's in the back.
Judge, you need them out?
Do we need him out, Miss Oko?
Yes, because he wants to see what bond, he wants to hear his criminal history and then see what bond you would be able to issue.
Wait, hold on, Deputy. What about you? You said there's another person. Do we need 2 people brought out or just 1?
Actually, to be 3. Mr. Fisher, Mr. Tran, and Mr. Lofton.
So Tran, Fisher,
Lofton.
and Lofton, all of them?
Yes, Judge.
Got it. Yeah, please. Thanks.
Chisholm, did you see my email?
About the interpreter?
Yeah, have you talked to his wife and the interpreter?
No, I just spoke with Mr. Trent. We were able to communicate. His English is not terrible, so we were able to communicate.
So his wife wanted to talk to him.
His wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, after this. What was I thinking? Tony, do you need me?
Yes, good morning.
Hey, bud. What's up?
I have a Stephen Butler on your docket.
Okay.
This
It's
is
not
a
old.
case where we had, no, it's not. We had subpoenaed the officer because the video had not been provided. And I was told that it could take up to 9 months. The last time we were here, you asked us to subpoena the officer to see what the status is, and the video has not been provided still. The officer is here. The state has told me that there are some, I guess, staffing issues, and that's what's causing the backlog.
But it's uploaded to a system. I mean, they upload it directly to a system as soon as they get here.
But right, Judge, so I can have the officer explain what the system is, but basically the way it works out, he's here, ready to tell you about it, but what happens is they have their body cam, they record the traffic stop, right? Once they go back to JPC or wherever they go to dock their body cam, they remove it from their plate, they dock it. That dock takes the video file from their body cam and puts it on the dock.
Okay.
The officer then removes the body cam from the dock and places it back on the plate. Once it's on that dock, the officer doesn't have accessibility to that body cam. There's somebody whose position it is in HPD to upload that body cam to ELC, which provides it to the state, and then we can share it to defense.
Okay.
The people that had those positions were recently either fired or left. So now they're hiring and training new people, onboarding them to upload HPD body cam. But the number they gave us specifically was 9 months for the backlog. I know
don't
that's
care.
obviously unacceptable. I know.
9 months is way too long. It's unacceptable. Justice delayed, justice denied. And I mean, we set cases for trial at 180 days. So I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you we got to have a compliance hearing at some point, and if you can't get it, then you can't get it. We just go forward without it.
And Judge, I did offer chief approved PTI today, and they were asking about informal PTI. I think what's going to happen at this point is defense is going to email Beadle, tell him about the situation, what the possibilities are,
okay,
to see what the eligibility is for informal.
I'm down.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would ask, Judge, is at this point, would you be inclined to set it for trial and just to kind of push them to, I mean, because I don't.
Sure, of course. Tony, whatever you want, you can have
I
it.
mean, I just don't want to be sitting around waiting for a video.
Just the only thing is I got to be fair to them too.
Sure.
So I got to give them the 30 days so that they can do their diligence, get subpoenas on file and do what they need to do. And then that's it. Right. If they don't have it, they don't have it. And in the interim, if there's something else, like they were to
miraculously come up with
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Sure.
I will tell you this, that the next trial setting that we have is January 7th. Because of the holiday, no juries after it's 12th, 13th, or maybe of December. We don't have any more juries. So that's why it will bump you up into January. But so it's up to you, but the next trial.
I'll talk to them and see if there's, if there's something we can work out. If not, then I'll just let their coordinator know, I guess, or.
God, that's going to be a nightmare for so many other cases now. I mean, there's got to be a quicker way than 9 months to,
Apparently that's the onboarding process to teach them how to properly share it. I don't know how it could take that long, but.
Plug in this here, push a button, download. I mean, we're splitting the ad. Okay, I know. I'm just bitching and moaning, just bitching and moaning.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you,
Thank you, Tony. Of course. Hey, guys, coming up.
Be sure, sir, Tran and
All you guys you speak English?
Yes, I do. Not very well.
Okay, if you don't understand something, just let me know.
Yes,
There's a translator outside for Mr. Tran. I didn't know that Chisholm was going to be on Zoom, but he's outside.
Is it?
I don't know if it's a certified translator, but someone is here to translate for Mr. Tran.
Is it a court translator? Or is it just one of his homeboys?
They want to speak with Chisholm, his wife, and the translator. So I don't know how far.
Yeah, I don't know how down I am with that. Yeah. Okay. So let's just try to go. I can always try to get is Vietnamese.
Yes, I am.
I can always try to get a Vietnamese.
Yes.
Okay, guys, you are wanted from another state. You want to get a bond set on all of them, Ms. Chisholm?
No, Judge, Mr. Fisher, and Mr. Tran wanted to get a bond set. I believe Mr. Lofton does have a local case, but he wanted to understand clearly if his local case would take precedence over the warrant that he's got out. So I believe he's got a hearing set for December 9th. Is it a felony, Mr. Lofton?
He's charged with 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance here. It looks like they're both less than a gram cases. And he has the open fugitive case. It looks like you are wanted.
He's wanted out of East Baton Rouge Parish for monetary instrument abuse, theft, and bank fraud. He has a $5,000 bond split between state jail PCS. Next thing is 12-9. They override the fugitive case right now, so he'll be trying to be locals. He's already waiting on November.
Okay, so essentially what happens, because you have not made bond on those cases upstairs in the felony cases, you usually give whatever jurisdiction wants you 14 days to come get you. But you can't have any holds. You have a hold, and the hold is the fact that you've not made bond on those felony cases. So because of that, the 14 days is told, meaning it's kind of put on hold until you either take care of those cases upstairs or you make bond on it. So if you talk to family members and have them pony up to $5,000 to get you on bond on both felony cases, at that point, that's when the 14 days starts running. And I'll tell you, you're wanted out of Louisiana. So we have so many buses coming in and out of Louisiana that once you do actually make bond, you'll probably be on your way to Louisiana within the next 2 to 3 days. You got to make bond. So I don't know, if you can talk to Chisholm, perhaps you can help reach out to family members to see if you have someone that can kind of, post those bonds for you.
And Judge, he does say that he's got court on the 9th of December and he anticipates it'll get resolved on that day. So, but that's what he anticipates, but I'll talk to him later on.
Just be careful what you do. Don't make a decision on a rush, because it's never a good, just gotta always be careful. Okay, so, Mr. Tran.
Yes, sir.
You were wanted out of Arizona for money laundering. What do you say on Mr. Tran?
I'm not opposed to a bond, but I would be opposed to a low bond. The warrant's been issued since 2018. His only history is a POM. And so, I'm not against one being set, but I want to make sure that there are assurances that he is able to secure transport back to Arizona and to take care of the warrant. I think that's part of why his wife and the interpreter are here. And so if he's able
that shows he's got some support, so that's good.
The fact that the warrant's been open for 6 years is obviously a concern. But other than that.
Well, I guess let's do this. If you're unopposed, see what you guys can come up with as far as the bond amount, and then I'm game.
Yes, sir.
And the last gentleman?
Mr. Fisher, Your Honor.
Mr. Fisher, I would be opposed to a bond. He's wanted for burglary out of Orange County. However, he had a prior fugitive just case 3 months ago out of Tennessee. It's not out of this warrant from Florida, and I can't nail it down yet. I haven't reached out to him to figure out what that arrest was, but the fact that he was wanted.
He's wanted out of Orange County. And he's in an orange jumpsuit right now, mate. He might as well be in Orange County. Even though the colour of the walls are probably grey instead of orange.
As a fugitive just 3 months prior.
We didn't give him a bond though, did we?
I'm sorry?
Did we give him a bond? No.
No, this is a first setting judge, but
No. On the prior fugitive case.
No, that was.
Oh, in another state.
Right, he was arrested in Tennessee for an unknown warrant. I don't know where the originating agency is, but he has a local theft. He did make bond for $20,000. It's a felony, a third degree felony, but he has a considerable amount of history, which is why I'm opposed. In addition to what you see on your screen, for locals well, if you want me to go down the list, I will, but he has 15 pages of criminal history in 3 different states. To say nothing of the fact that he's had an aggravated robbery in his history as well. So I would be opposed to.
I'm curious. Go, man.
15 pages.
This is you.
For other than the Tennessee, he's wanted for third degree or burglary in Oklahoma, conspiracy or wanted conspiracy to commit a felony. He's wanted. I'm not going to play false, but yeah. He's wanted for, sorry.
You're singing it, Dave. Come on,
Trying to
sing it.
scroll. Oh, I guess that's what I was thinking, is a fugitive case out of Tennessee. And then the other one being in Oklahoma, and all the robbery, the felon possession of weapon, and the fact that he had prior ag fraud, evading in a motor vehicle. So he has the definition of a flight risk. He literally fled from the police in a vehicle. And so because of all those reasons, I would be opposed to a bond.
Your Honor, he does have family here in Harris County. That's mostly why he is here in Harris County. He's not trying to essentially run from this warrant. He wants to go take care of it, and he would like to take care of it. He wants to take care of it next Monday. That way he can spend Thanksgiving with his family. And so we would request a bond at this time.
You have 13 pages of criminal history. You've picked up a felony theft of $30,000 to $150,000, and you want me to set you a bond? Really?
Fuck no.
No. You have a prior fugitive case. I don't know what happened with that, but I would bet that if I give you a bond now, you might pick up a new case, might take flight. And I don't want that to happen. The good news is that you've made bond on this case, so the 14 days will start running, as opposed to what happened with the gentleman here, where it's kind of in a standstill. So it's Florida, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so Florida has 14 days to come get you. And if they don't, and I'm going to tell you now, I don't give multiple bonds on fugitive cases. You get one shot. You already have had a prior fugitive case. So you know what you got to do. And when you don't, there's serious consequences. What? Tell me, Mr. Fisher, what? I mean,
the case that he's talking about from Tennessee, I was pulled over and they took me to jail in Tennessee. I had a warrant from Harris County. I got extradited here and I bonded out here. I never caught a case in Tennessee. They just held me and extradited me back to Harris County. But I didn't run from it. I'm handling it right now. I check in my bonds, everything. I'm not running. Even the case dealing with Florida.
Don't run. Stop. Just take care of it once and for all.
Sir.
Straighten up and fly right. It's not hard. Get a job. You got kids?
Yes, sir.
How many kids you got?
2.
Come on. While you're out here, who's taking care of those kids? Probably someone you don't want.
See, that's like the Florida situation. It's old. Like it's nothing new that I picked up. It's old. Like in my past, just catching up with me. I wasn't like, it's not on my mind to run it out. Like I really want to handle the Florida situation, but I just don't want to miss a holiday with my family. But I will handle the Florida situation.
Concern is you getting back to Florida, taking care of it once and for all. I understand you may miss a holiday, but man up, go back, get it done, and live your life the right way. Okay. So let's do this. Has Fisher already waived or no?
Yes, Judge. I believe all 3 of them have waived except for Mr. Tran.
So
Tran,
I'm willing to do a bond with you guys on Tran. If you guys can come up to the mount, I'm happy. And then with the other 2 gentlemen, we'll just wait and see. Okay.
I'll email you to on Tran.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. And I did have one more, but I'll come back on it.
Take your time, no rush.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Antonio.
Good morning, Judge. I was told to approach on Josue Isaias Duarte del Cid. He's in custody. He had an old DWI and picked up another one, and then also a failure to ID. Has an immigration hold.
Okay.
That sounds like so many people who pass through this court, mate.
I'm revoking the bonds now. They gave him a PR bond. I'm in shock they would give him a PR bond with an open DWI and a failure to ID as a fugitive.
Okay.
But so I'm going to revoke the bond on the new case. I guess just you want to set it off to do your diligence?
Yes, sir. And I think I'm in the process of working it out with the prosecutor.
Okay, yeah, whatever. However, but I'm taking away the PR bond, just
He's not going anywhere. He has an immigration, a nice hold.
503 on Duarte's new case, please. Okay, friend.
Thank you, Judge.
Search on Cesar Hernandez in custody.
Okay.
Last Monday, you asked him to get a drug test. He did. On Tuesday, he was taken into custody for presumptively failing that test. It was a false positive, Your Honor. If lab came back, he was completely clean in his system. He's been sitting in jail for a week. I would like his bond reinstated.
Do you mind bringing him out, please?
Oh, far out.
Seems like those presumptive tests are kind of dangerous if they're not accurate, Your Honor.
Talking about a false positive.
He was taken into custody saying that he presumptively failed for alcohol. That was incorrect. He had nothing in his system. When the labs came back, he was completely clean as pretrial control.
Yes, so it should be in your email. I cannot load mine right now.
I don't have anything. Yeah, I'll reinstate his bond. I mean, if it's, I don't understand how they can tell me he tests positive for alcohol.
I
but he
think
doesn't.
that's horrifying that he's been in jail for a week and he did nothing wrong. We just need some time to work on the
Pardon me.
mitigation.
Yeah, we'll get him out now.
Horrifying.
You want him still to come
Yeah.
out or? is there
But,
need?
I mean, when
No, you can just
when
admonish
the,
him. What does he have now?
when the only result is a positive test at the time, and you don't know it's a false positive, and you don't know until the next time they test, I don't see any problem throwing someone in jail for the few days in between tests. Or more than likely order them to go straight out and get another one. But yeah. Something doesn't seem right with those presumptive tests.
Does he have anything? Does he have any devices or anything? Or no?
We were managing to custody now, but in the case that you want to reinstate his bond, his biggest condition would be
It's unacceptable.
just randomly waiving the drugs or alcohol.
Okay, just same continued conditions. I want to know who did the test so we can ream them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. I'm gonna send an email. It's unacceptable.
Judge, disregard him?
Yeah, just disregard it. We'll just reinstate it. Will you? Did you send, when did you send me an email? Because I don't have one from you.
I can't find it right now, was my, I'll put it down all day.
Cesar Hernandez.
You ready? Come on. Ready? Okay, I'm gonna bring him up.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's not here. Right here.
Judge, that email is Friday, November 22nd.
I didn't have an email. Well, give me a second, please. Good morning, Mr. Mobley. Good morning. Mr. Mobley, you're charged with burglary of a motor vehicle. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement. They're offering you a 2-year deferred. That is the type of probation that if you successfully complete it, you do not end up with a conviction on your record. And I'm going to tell you now, this is probably one of the most important things that you're going to do in your life right now, because if you end up with a burglary conviction, you will never get a job. People don't like burglars, and it will say that behind your name forever and a day, that you are a burglar. So you need to work this thing out in a positive way. The felony, is that going to be Ixnay on the felony A.
Ixnay on the.
Okay, what a deal, man. They're gonna dismiss this felony also. All you gotta do is make this thing and work it right. Did you graduate from high school?
I'm seeing right now.
You're senior. Okay, gotta graduate. What kind of grades are you making?
A's, B's. I just signed up for like student society, something like that. Like we had a whole event.
Right. Just keep it up, because I'm telling you, this is just the wrong way you're going in life, man. The more charges you pick up, the less employable you become. People don't like these types of charges because they know, given the opportunity, you might steal from them. That's what they think so if you complete this successfully, you can end up sealing it one day so that the public can't see it as well. It's a great thing. But you got to understand, you give up nearly every right known to man by entering into this agreement. And you tell us, okay, judge, if I don't do this and if I mess up, you can put me in jail for an entire year. An entire year you can sit in custody. Do you understand? You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization under federal law. You give up the right to appeal, Mr. Mobley. So once you enter into this agreement, you're stuck with it until you complete it, or if it gets revoked. Now, if you pick up a new case, don't do your stuff on time. If you consume alcohol, illegal drugs, I'm going to issue a warrant for arrest. I'm going to put you in jail. I'll bring you back out. And if they prove it to me, you're looking at a whole year. Understand? So the idea is you will do thinking for a change. You will also do a TRAS, which is an evaluation to see what other conditions you may need. If they assess other conditions, you must fulfill them. No drugs, alcohol, random testing, no threatening, abusive, or harassing contact with a Gene Ross. Say that again. Oh. Graduate high school. And 24 hours of community service. So is there any restitution that was due and owed as a result of this?
Not that I see.
I don't see that there's any actual damage to the
No,
vehicle.
Your Honor.
And in the fraud case, that is what, like a license? Is that what that was? Like a fake ID or something?
Credit cards and health insurance cards.
Okay, and we don't know, you don't know whether they were used or not?
No, Your Honor.
I don't think those.
Okay. It's not hard to do well. I'm gonna waive all your fees. You won't have to pay for anything. I can't pay for outside vendor stuff like the class, but I'll take off all your fines. I'll take off all your fees. You're not gonna have to owe anything with us. All you gotta do is well and graduate, and I'll make you a deal. The minute you graduate, I'll take you off this probation. So it's gonna be at least a year because you're gonna do your senior year. But if you've completed everything, if you've done well, you don't test positive, you haven't picked up a new case, the minute you graduate, come back to us, let us know, and we'll cut you loose.
Sorry, I will.
All right? How do you plead to the offense, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I will not find you guilty. I'll withhold that for 2 years. Just make us proud, man. You know, you got your whole life. Don't, just a bunch of knuckleheads. Don't fall prey. Okay, good luck, Mr. Mobley. Thanks.
All right, I'm gonna leave it there. I know it's about halfway through the day for but doesn't really look like anything else interesting happens. And I've just really briefly scrolled through it right now, so yeah. That and yeah, there's multiple courts. I will try and get the timestamps in the description below so that you can jump around if you want. But as of now, that is that. I will catch you on the next one, people. See ya.